the band back together.
1, 2, 1, 2.
Welcome everybody to the award-winning 99% Radio Network. We are coming to you live from the Fishbowl Communication Studio in Globe Life Park in the heart of the Arlington Entertainment District. And today, Sideshow, we need you. The band is back together. Can't wait. So, as always, we're brought to you by the VROC, the Veterans Resource and Outreach Center, located at 4210 Industrial Street in Rowlett, serving veterans across North Texas. For 2 years now, more than 2,500 have been serviced. Stop on by, give them a call, 972-463-8762, VROC. And by Law Tigers of Dallas, located at 4343 Sigma Road, Suite 200 in Farmers Branch. The Law Tigers are trusted by motorcycle riders across the country to help you get the compensation you deserve for medical bills, repairs, damages, lost wages, pain and suffering, and much, much more. If you're involved in a motorcycle accident, keep your mouth shut. Find out if you have a case by contacting Law Tigers in Dallas for a free case review at 469-281-9498. The law firm of Kirkendall Dwyer. As always, no recovery, no fee since 2001. And by Microdot Helmets, a Texas-based veteran-owned and operated business. The best low-profile, DOT-approved helmets that there are. A cool retro-looking helmet is a Microdot helmet. Microdot Helmets, located at 780 West Davie Lane, Suite 200 in Mansfield, Texas. While you're there, you can check out the great selection of motorcycle leather and gear from Scoot Dog. Microdot helmets and Scoot Dog motorcycle leather and gear, providing comfort and style to riders from racers to cruisers. And you can now go to Scoot Dog and Microdot and use the promo code THE99. Not sure what that'll get you yet, but you can use it. All right, so John Walsh from Omega Gamma Delta, of which Mongo and I and Sideshow's a regular member. Mongo and I are honorary members.
I wore my T-shirt all day long yesterday.
That's good. I wear mine too from time to time. You actually wore yours in public.
I was waiting to be asked about it, but I didn't actually go out in public. I wore it at the house and I wore it to the gym this morning, but I stopped at the end of the driveway because it was icy and cold, and I said, you know what? I don't need to work out today. So I stayed home.
Well, so we are really brought to y'all today by Law Tigers. We got our new pop-up over there. It looks really impressive, and that is courtesy of our friend TJ. TJ, welcome. TJ's there in the background. We got a really good show today, Mongo. What are we going to talk about first?
We do. Well, we're going to talk about we've got the cruise coming up. The
High Seas Rally.
The High Seas Rally. It's that cruise. We're on the boat. The High Seas Rally coming up October 22nd.
Yeah, through the 29th.
So there's still cabins and cabin space available. So when you do sign up through the 99 and see us get a little credit for it.
99 Radio, yep. Go to 99 Radio. That's the promo code for that. You can go to www.highseasrally.com. We've talked about this a lot. We're going to keep talking about it because we got some great things in the works we're working on right now. Let's see if I put this in the right order. We're working on bringing the talent that's going to appear on the cruise onto the show. Since we don't,
this show needs talent.
Because this show needs talent. That's right. The talent appearing on the boat is going to be Trace Adkins headlining, Molly Hatchet, Foghat, Black Smoke Sinners, and of course whatever house bands that are.
What's that one house band?
What's that one? No, that's not a house band. And don't ask me
on.
that. Don't. I'll throw something at you, brother. I'll throw something at you. Don't ask me. It was Buck Cherry, but don't.
Buck Cherry, that's them.
Don't ask me that one again. All right. I don't know if Xavier wants us to mention that or not. He has a new band. They'll be on the boat playing.
Is that going to be your new favorite band?
I like them. They're very good. You should check them out. Black Smoke Sinners. They're really good.
I just got done checking out Buck Cherry.
Did you really check them out?
Well, you checked it out with me. We were smoking a stick on the back.
That's right. But I think I might have been intoxicated when we did that. I can't remember. All right. So coming up on the 22nd, we also have hashtag Walk the Bridge. We got some news.
We got the Ochos coming up.
We got the Ochos coming up too.
Dude, my memory is like as long as your thing. So.
Oh, that's pretty long.
It's not very long. What is this? April 30th? 28th.
It's Friday, April 30th.
Friday, April 30th.
The Ocho Awards, the inaugural Ocho Awards, and Bike Night. We have that. You want to tell the folks what that is?
Well, we are honoring our lost brother Ocho by recognizing clubs both locally, regionally, across the country, and around the world for their contributions to the community, the work that they do. So we're recognizing them with what we call an Ocho Award. It's in honor of our fallen brother Dan Dorton, who passed away this past Thanksgiving due to complications with COVID. And it's going to be our way of remembering him officially every year.
And it's also our way of, by naming these awards after him, by creating an ongoing legacy for him. He had his own legacy that he created over a number of years by helping veterans.
Well, he was a silent partner with you at the through the V-Rock, doing a lot of work for the veterans. I mean, he came out to my place and did work
built
as a veteran. So
your stairwell to help you out. Yeah,
I almost fell down today.
Sure. He was a great guy, and we're going to, in his name, be offering up a number of awards. For example, we'll be giving out, and this is an award show that the 99 came up with as a way to do this, and we, from our seat here, we get to see the good stuff that clubs all around the world are doing, and this is a way to recognize them and hopefully encourage other clubs to get involved in their community, make a difference, which is a common theme in our show. And so we'll have awards for making a difference on a local level, regional level, national level, international level, and then we'll have some special awards. We'll have a legacy award. We'll have a man and quite possibly a woman of the year award. That'll be a man or a woman within a club that has just gone way above and beyond to make a difference in their community, and then a brotherhood award for the club that has demonstrated one of the has best demonstrated brotherhood in some significant manner. So we're really excited about that.
And this is not by invitation. It's open to everybody.
Open to all the clubs within the sound of our voice. If you're over in Europe, I know some of our friends over there are coming over, assuming that they can get through the quarantine and get here. But if you can hear the invite, it's open for all 99% law-abiding clubs across the country. It's going to be held at the Hella Shrine Event Center at 2121 Rowlett Road in Garland. It's a beautiful facility. We're going to have a couple of bands, one of our personal favorites and the ones that wrote our theme music. The Three Drunk Monkeys will be opening, and then after the award ceremony, High Infidelity and REO Speedwagon Tribute Band will be closing it out. Big Rome, Ruben Gallegos with Big Rome's Barbecue Empire will be there, cooking up some wonderful barbecue stuff. I don't know what all he's going to have, but I know he'll have stuff and sides like potato salad, coleslaw, baked beans, whatever. We'll have beer from, among other places, Intrinsic, which is in Garland, and I know personally I have their whole glass collection, so Intrinsic can brew up some pretty good beer. So it's going to be a heck of a night honoring clubs from around the world, literally, and we're going to have some fun. So, and then we have Walk the Bridge on the 22nd coming up here pretty quick next week, and we have some news to break about that. Yes.
Yes.
Don't be a dick.
No, I'm not. Dude, I'm telling you, my memory is not that long. You
Okay.
should have wrote notes down, dude. I'm telling you.
well,
no, you should have given me the notes that you. Yeah.
All right. Good God. I'll tell you. I've been carrying you your whole life. Come on.
Well, there you go.
All right.
Then you should know better.
I should learn my lesson, huh?
Yeah.
All right. So the 99, in cooperation with hashtag Walk the Bridge and the VROC and Third Watch, is proud to mention or announce that the Chaotic Angels LEMC Nomads in the UK, President Spector, Grant Priest, he's been on the show, we've had him on several times. He is initiating hashtag Walk the Bridge amongst his chapters over in the UK. They're on a worse lockdown than we are over here right now, so it's going to kick off once the lockdown is lifted. But we're really excited to see hashtag Walk the Bridge go international. And for those of you that don't know or might have missed it when we've talked about it before, it's something we're really committed to. We walk the 22nd of each month on Heroes Memorial Bridge. It's on Highway 66 between Rowlett and Rockwall. We walk faithfully to raise awareness about the epidemic of law enforcement and first responder and veteran suicide. There were 16 last month first responders that took their own life, and around 750 veterans just in January alone. We also are now walking to help provide solutions and alternatives to suicide through counseling, through training, and through peer support. And the number of folks that have become involved in that has been on a steady increase. And then for us here in the Lake Ray Hubbard area, we are also working diligently to bring a place of reflection and remembrance for the families of those who have completed suicide. So when Grant and the Chaotic Angels and their connections over in the UK said, we're in on this, we want to be a part of this, because first responders and veterans in in Britain are affected the same way as they are over here. We said it's a done deal. We're in on supporting that. So thank you so much, Chaotic Angels, LAMC Nomads in UK, Grant Priest. Thank you so much for stepping up and leading your guys on this. It is definitely a worthwhile endeavor. So for all of you watching, and that's the announcements to get us all caught up. We've been hyping this for a while. As most of you know, we've been without our
Big toe.
Our big toe. That's a good analogy for those of you that can remember Stripes. Sideshow is our big toe. He's what keeps us on our balance. He's what drives this show, and we have missed him greatly. And so because of that, we're doing things just a little bit different today. Normally we put the Mongolog off for a little while, but because today's kind of a special day, we're going to go to the Mongolog now. So toss to you, Mongo.
Mongo! Santa Maria!
I'll believe it. And maybe one of you friends and neighbors kind of gather around and holy shit!
Here comes Mongo!
You know, it's kind of nervous for me because usually I've got 4 listeners, and right now I know I've got at least 9. So,
Oh, you got a lot more than that, brother.
I've doubled my audience plus some.
You have like a lot more than that.
So here we go. Today's Mongolog will be dedicated to our brother and co-host Sideshow on his return to the 99% Radio Network. Throughout history, there have been many comebacks. They may have been historical comebacks, military comebacks, smart-ass comebacks, and at times funny comebacks. Everyone likes the underdog. That makes the comeback of today I'm going to cover, but I should have reread that first paragraph. I did reread most of it, though.
You reread?
I actually corrected most of it, but apparently not that line. Just a few of these comebacks throughout the history of mankind. In the greatest comeback of all time, the story is still unfolding. The prodigal son Jesus returns home in disgrace, only to be welcomed by his father with open arms, no questions asked. Jesus rose from the dead, but wait, there's more. God is in the business of giving fresh starts to people. He gives hope to the hopeless, direction to the directionless, help to those who need help. God is always good, all the time, and his plans will always prevail, even when our plans don't. He already knows what the solutions are, no matter what kind of disappointment or grief or pain or trouble or heartache we encounter. God always offers a new beginning, a change of heart, and a powerful spiritual turnaround. The world's greatest comeback is yet to come. It's going to be when Jesus returns for his own. If we believe in the risen Lord and have accepted him as our Lord and Savior, he's coming back for us. If we don't believe in the risen Lord and failed to give our lives to him, we'll be left behind forever. Here's the point. Jesus is coming back. There's no question about that. The question is he coming back for you? God offers the way forward, and his pathways are always good. Your life is going to traverse through the course of various seasons. Some are unbelievably awesome. Appreciate those and make every effort to prolong those good waves as long as you can. They can be rare, so take the blessing and know you are blessed. Then there are those seasons in life that are trying, difficult, and brutal. They may even sneak up on you, even though you later, in hindsight, you can retrace every misstep that you got you into the bitter funk. The key is to not let that bitter funk overtake you and dominate your life. The key is to remember all seasons, good and bad, are temporary. In every down season, there is the opportunity for a comeback. Your story is still being written. The only way that failure can get the last word in your life is if we choose to let it. We serve a God who is able to take our defeats and missteps and still use us to bring glory to his name. Whether you've been walking with him faithfully, hang on a second, turn my page. Whether you've been walking with him faithfully or you've had a few stumbles along the way, he's encouraging you to help build his kingdom. The end of my little session on theology, I will leave you with this thought to ponder. The teacher asks his classroom, "Can you see God?" The class responds, "No." The teacher then asks, "Can you touch God?" The class responds, "No." The teacher states, "Then there isn't a God." One of the students raises his hand and asks, "Sir, can you see your brain?" The teacher responds, "No." The student replies, "Can you touch your brain?" The teacher responds, "No." The student replies with the question, "Oh, okay, so you don't have a brain?" So there's your thought for the day. Sometimes comebacks come in the form of one-liner, a joke, or an insult. Husband tells his wife, "Darling, you are drunk." The wife responds, "Sure, and you are ugly. Fortunately, I will be sober when the morning comes, but you will still be ugly." Person 1, "I don't know whether you will die of AIDS or gonorrhea." Person 2 responds, "That depends on whether I screw your daughter or your sister." Apparently, zing! Apparently, in addition to being a historical figure, Winston Churchill was quick with the retort. Lady Astor says, "If you were my husband, I would poison your food." Winston Churchill responds, If I were your husband, I would eat it." Remember, Member of Parliament, Mr. Churchill, lest you fall asleep while I'm speaking. Churchill, "No, it's purely voluntary." Winston Churchill versus George Bernard Shaw. Shaw, "I'm enclosing 2 tickets to the first night of my new play. Bring a friend if you have one." Churchill responds, "I cannot possibly attend the first night. Will be there the second night if there is one." U.S. President Harry S. Truman wants to defend Churchill's replacement, Clement Attlee, by saying, "He seems a modest sort of fellow," to which Churchill replied, "He's got a lot to be modest about." Calvin Coolidge versus an audience member. "What do you think of the singer's execution?" Coolidge, "I'm all for it." Speaker of the House Nicholas Longworth versus a member of the House. The House member, after rubbing Speaker Longworth's bald head, "Nice and smooth, feels like my wife's bottom." Longworth running his hand over his own head, "Indeed it does." Finally, Mahatma Gandhi versus the Western world. Reporter, "What do you think of Western civilization?" Gandhi responds, "I think I would be a good idea." A great modern day comeback story involves a man by the name of Bernie Marcus. Bernie was the son of a poor Russian cabinet maker in Newark, New Jersey. In 1978, he was fired from a do-it-yourself retail store called Handy Dan's. What do you do when you've been fired from Handy Dan's? Well, Bernie teamed up with a guy named Arthur Blank, and they decided to start their own business. They opened their first store in Atlanta, Georgia. It was called the Home Depot. Today, they have stores all over the world, and their annual income is in the billions. That's a great comeback story. The comeback of Wilma Rudolph, who was the 20th of 22 children. She was born prematurely, and her survival was doubtful. When she was 4, she contracted double pneumonia and scarlet fever, which left her with a paralyzed left leg. At age 9, she removed the metal brace she had been dependent upon and began to walk without it. At age 13, she developed a rhythmic walk, which doctors said was a miracle. That same year, she decided to become a runner. She entered a race and came in last. For the next few years, every race she entered, she came in last. Everyone told her to quit, but she kept running. One day, she actually won a race, then another. From then on, she won every race she entered. Eventually, this little girl, who was told she would never walk again, went on to win 3 Olympic gold medals. General Douglas MacArthur was turned down when he applied for admission to West Point, not just once but twice. He came back a 3rd time, was accepted, and marched into the history books. Take the story of Albert Einstein, who developed the theory of relativity. Did you know he was expelled from school for being dumb? In a 6-month period, he taught himself calculus. In 1905, he published 3 papers that revolutionized man's image of physical universe and helped lay the foundation for the nuclear age. One of the papers offered an explanation of the photoelectric effect, which concerns the emission of electrons from metal surfaces exposed to light. Theoretically, this study represented a cornerstone in the quantum theory and practicality. It made possible many great inventions, including television and automation systems. In practical terms, I know when I pick up the remote control and push the on-off button, the TV magically turns on and off. If anyone were waiting for me to do anything close to this, we'd be staring at a poorly constructed wooden box that did absolutely nothing as a form of entertainment. Thomas Edison was kicked out of school because they could not do anything with him. The teachers told his mother he was too slow to learn. So little Thomas was homeschooled by his mother, and he made a quick comeback. At the age of 10, he already set up his first chemistry laboratory. He became our nation's most famous inventor with inventions such as the light bulb, the phonograph, and the kinetoscope. When he synchronized these, he produced motion picture. He gave us over 1,300 inventions that have radically improved our world. Franklin D. Roosevelt was paralyzed by polio at the age of 39, yet he went on to become one of the most beloved and influential leaders in American history, being elected president of the U.S. 4 times. In 1952, Sir Edmund Hillary attempted to climb Mount Everest, 29,000 feet straight up. Well, it's not really straight up, but it says straight up, so, it was steep. It was really steep and slippery. He failed, but he wanted to go back and try again. 1 year later, on May 29th, my birthday, by the way, in case anybody's buying gifts, he succeeded in becoming the first man to climb Mount Everest and reach the very top. In the 1940s, a young inventor named Chester Carlson took his idea to 20 corporations, including some of the biggest in the country. They all turned him down, and he almost quit. In 1947, after 7 long years of continuous rejection, he went back to the tiny company in Rochester, New York, the Haloid Company. They purchased the rights to his electrostatic paper copying process. Haloid changed its name to Xerox Corporation, and Carlson's invention changed all of our lives. Ulysses S. Grant was always a spectacular horseman. When he was young, his skill with horses was well known, and he was the top horseman in his class at West Point. After he graduated, he naturally seemed the most likely candidate to enter the cavalry unit, but he was assigned instead to the infantry. During the Mexican War, Grant was cited for his bravery in battle and quickly rose through the ranks, marrying his wife Julia and starting a family. His life seemed secure until he was assigned to the Northwest Territory. He was forced to leave his family behind. Grant was very unhappy serving in Oregon and California, so he began to drink heavily to cope with the loneliness. He started to encounter financial problems, which further fueled his self-loathing. Is that me? Oh, okay. Feeling too depressed. It's usually me, don't worry about it. Feeling too depressed to go on with his career, Grant resigned from the Army in 1854. Grant and his wife tried with little success to run a farm that her family had given them. When the Civil War broke out in 1860, Grant got a job training volunteers. Though he was seen by many as a drunk, he was eventually reabsorbed into the Army because they needed trained officers. Grant became a brigadier general. His military genius stood out above all others, and by 1864 he was appointed by Lincoln as general of the Union Army. In 1865, General Lee of the Confederacy surrendered at Appomattox, ending the war, period. In 1866, Grant was made general of the armies, a rank attained only by George Washington during the Revolutionary War. Grant was popular with the public, and in 1868 he was elected President of the United States. Sports comebacks. There has never been a Super Bowl quite like the 51st Super Bowl, played on February 5, 2017. 2 years removed from their last Super Bowl win, the New England Patriots entered 2016 without their starting quarterback. As a result of the Deflategate farce, Tom Brady was suspended for the first 4 weeks of the regular season when he was caught cheating.
No.
Yes, Tom Brady was caught.
Brady got
Let me reread that. Tom Brady was caught cheating.
No.
With an underinflated football the previous season. When Brady came back, he did so in spectacular fashion and delivered one of the best individual seasons in NFL history with the GOAT, greatest of all time. And it pains me to say that about him. Tom Brady delivered one of the best individual seasons in NFL history. The Patriots met the Atlanta Falcons at Houston's NRG Stadium on February 5th, 2017. A half century of Super Bowls have never produced a game quite like the one that took place that day. The halftime score was a bleak Falcons 21, Patriots 3. And I say bleak if you're a Patriots fan, because for me, I was in high heaven. I was celebrating that day. It was a great halftime for me. I don't even like Atlanta. I hate that team, but they were beating the Patriots, and I hate that team even more. The Falcons did finally score in the third quarter, creating a score of 28-3. Down by 25 points with 8:31 left in the third quarter, the Patriots faced a daunting task. Tom Brady led the Patriots to a 28-28 tie at the end of regulation, sending Super Bowl 51 into overtime, the first Super Bowl to have done so. As the visiting team, the Patriots were given the call in the coin toss and won the toss and possession of the ball. Brady led the Patriots down the field and to a final pass into the end zone, winning the game 34-28. After a season that the Patriots began by losing 2 draft picks and their starting quarterback for a quarter of the season as punishment for Deflategate, for cheating, the New England Patriots won the Super Bowl in spectacular fashion. And now for the final comeback backstory to this monologue, we have John Sideshow Salerno, our big toe. Today he makes his comeback to the 99% Radio Network after a well-deserved vacation in the mountain resort in snowy Utah. Before I get too deep into the weeds singing the praises of Sideshow, I will give you the backstory on Sideshow's road name. Before he was a member of Third Watch, he had his other radio show, Mad Radio. Mad Make a Difference Radio. I think he may have been a prospect at the time, but it was at the Rowlett City Council meeting during a Veterans Recognition Ceremony that Third Watch, LEMC, did with the city of Rowlett on a bi-monthly basis. He was wearing his cut, so I'm pretty sure he was a prospect at the time with our club. He was standing in the council assembly chamber halfway down one of the side aisles, waiting for the ceremony to begin. He had his iPad with him as I approached him standing against the wall in the aisle. As I approached him, he was talking, but I assumed he was talking on the telephone with a remote microphone. The reason I thought he was talking on the telephone and not to me were twofold. For one thing, I could barely hear him, so I assumed he was talking quietly on the telephone. And my hearing sucks to begin with, and I was trying not to eavesdrop as I approached. The other reason is because as I approached, he appeared to be looking in 9 different directions, and none of them were at me. As it turned out, the closer I got, I realized he was actually talking to me, and although in a very Marty Feldman type manner, he was looking at me as I approached. I immediately went to 12 and told him, I know what Sideshow's road name is going to be. He had a radio show that he'd on the side, and everything else, and even when looking directly at you, he appears to be looking everywhere else to the side. I told 12 he will be called Sideshow, and so it was.
And that's the rest of the story.
Yeah, well, we got a little more to go, but that is the rest of the story. That's the backstory. We'll have to get clarification at the end of this monologue as to how exactly his career transpired. I will be able to give crib notes from Tigger, however, with Tigger working, managing her rescue dogs, her husband, her father, her kids, and grandkids. I accepted her notes without question or clarification. So I had to kind of read between the lines. Sideshow was 16 when he became a junior firefighter in the Farmingdale, Long Island Fire Department and made his way up to the rank of chief and held that position during 9/11 and the time that he and his crew spent on the pile. He became an EMT at 18 in New York City EMS. He was there for 3 years before going into the police academy. He joined NYPD in October of 1990. After many commendations, he was transferred to narcotics in 93 or 94. And he'll clarify that. While working narcotics, he was promoted to detective in 1994, where he remained until 1998. In 1994, Sideshow earned the Medal of Valor for an on-duty shooting incident he was involved in. In 1998, during a warrant service, Sideshow was stabbed in the upper thigh, which in turn caused blood clotting. He was placed on blood thinners and had to retire in 2000. Sideshow has been instrumental in locating many missing children while working as part of the Runaway Squad. He's involved with Laughter Saves Lives, Heroes, Cops, and Kids, the Travis Manion Foundation, 22 Kill, and Mad Radio, 99% Radio Network, and in conjunction with others from Third Watch, Heroes Bridge, spanning the waterway between Rowlett and Rockwall, as well as Uplift program Feeding Homeless. As if he didn't have enough going on in his life, on the side he has a daughter, 3 stepchildren, and 4 beautiful grandchildren. Sideshow and Tigger live with 5 rescue dogs and her father, a rescue father. There was some confusion on the transfer of information regarding the dogs and her father. Just to make it easy, they're all house trained, and for the most part, they all get along.
Is the father, is he housebroke?
I believe so. I have not heard stories to the contrary, but I don't live there, so
Okay.
we'll have to ask him.
We'll have to ask about that.
Unfortunately, the best sideshow story that I know is not suitable for being repeated on the radio. His wife Tigger told me the story that occurred in a bar that they were operating at the time. So, if our listeners hit me up in person and ask me to tell the story, I will repeat it to the best of my memory. Until then, just know there are many stories to be told involving Sideshow, both past events and adventures yet to be had. Sideshow may not ever have my 6, because with his eyes I probably wouldn't want him to. However, I know Sideshow will always have my 3 and my 9. 12 and I will, however, always have his 6. And that, my friends, is that. My name is Mongo. I drink whiskey, I smoke cigars, and I know things. Mongo is out.
Good job, brother.
Candy
And don't forget, you know, Miggy Gamma Delta brother.
Sign,
Vice President.
I forgot
Delta
that.
Iota chapter.
Mango like candy.
Well, I think all that's left to do now is to cap off the greatest personal comeback story that we know, and that is to say, Sideshow, welcome back, brother. We are so happy to have you.
Where am I sitting?
Over here, next
Sit over here, brother.
All right.
Welcome back.
Thanks, brother. I can tell you, man, that was a great eulogy. Man,
How's it feel to be back, brother?
it's nice to be out of the straitjacket.
Yep.
It really is. My arms are able to move around a little bit.
Was that like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest too?
Yeah. John Walsh kept texting me. Is there a big Indian ripping out the water fountain yet?
So, me and Mongo want to get the straight scoop here, because we've been hearing all those reports about you up there with the ski bunnies, relaxing in the jacuzzi, getting the massages, having your own chef. I mean,
Listen, just don't let my insurance company know that. All right.
is there truth to those rumors?
Listen, I can't comment on any snow bunnies or hot tubs or naked skiing. I can't comment on it. I went through a lot of therapy, and that's what my insurance company has written down.
But you did
Some of it was downhill therapy. Some of it was hot tub therapy.
There was a lot of massage therapy.
He did confirm though that he took that lime green singlet with him, and
Yeah, the
that
slingshot?
was the result of the quarantine.
That's why, yeah, they weren't actually locked down due to COVID. They were locked down so they didn't have to see him.
I didn't have to come here to take this abuse.
Well, listen,
No.
we are really, really glad you're back. And just to, we have a lot to talk about. We have a lot that we want you to talk about today before we head back to normal next week. But
What's the real normal?
I don't
What,
know.
Really?
I
I just came out of friggin' therapy. There is no normal.
reality changes from week to week, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It does, man.
So if you didn't, the Mongo log, another great job, Mongo,
Yes.
putting that
Always.
together. That was
Thank you.
super, and you nailed the points that we wanted to make. But if you were really listening to that, you
You can
got
tell
the,
you guys are Raider fans.
we didn't go there. And like our friend John F. and Walsh mentioned, and we forgot to mention, or Mongo forgot to mention, I forgot to remind him that you are also an Omega Gamma Delta.
Miggy Gamma Delta.
We got a phone call coming in? All right, well, let's take it. We'll just jump right to that before we get back to you.
Oh, all right.
All right. Caller, you are on the air. Who do we have here?
Probably my insurance company.
They hung up? Okay, they'll call back in a
Yeah, it
minute.
was my insurance company.
So if you were listening closely, it was the FCC about Mongo's comment about the herpes and gonorrhea.
Maybe you call warranty.
Hello, Mongo. This is the FCC calling. If you listen closely to the Mongolog, you heard a recitation of, and that's my big word for the
Recitation.
day. Recitation.
Did you tell him
No,
Spell it.
he has that written on his hand.
how long did you have to practice that word on the way here?
I almost got it wrong too. It got me smudged.
Restitution.
It was restitution of all of the things that Sideshow is involved in, and we've talked about it before on the show. There aren't very many people that I am personally aware of that give back more to the community than what you do, bro. I mean, since I've known you, you are full speed ahead all the time, giving back, helping people, going out of pocket to do great things. And what we kind of want to talk about today is, especially with your professional background, the things that happened to you as a fire chief at 9/11, your career at NYPD, and all the things that you've done, the substantive things that you have helped do since I've known you. With Walk the Bridge, people may not know, but if they don't, I'll tell them now. It was Sideshow's idea to name the bridge Heroes Memorial Bridge, and he helped kick that effort off. He gave the name #Walk the Bridge. That was his idea, and he gave life to that effort that now, as of today, is going international.
Excited to hear that, man.
It's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yes.
But the thing is you, and what we want to talk about is your journey over the last month. You give and you give and you give, and there reaches a point where you have to either stop and get off the train, take a breath, and take care of yourself, or the inevitable happens. And we want to talk about that. We're coming up real quick on a quarter till. How about we take a break and then we'll jump back into it?
That works for me, bro.
That'd be all right. We'll take a commercial break,
of course.
Paul. And by the way, we have Paul back on the board today, doing a fantastic job as always. Thank you, Paul, for your contributions. We
Yes,
appreciate
always.
it. So we'll take a very short commercial break, and then we'll be back, and we'll go down that road that led us to the comeback.
All right.
I went to the Street Vibration Arena. On my way back, 50 miles from home. And then the guys wanted out of the express lane because he didn't want to pay us $6 and swooped me and locked him up. I went down.
911, do you need police, fire, ambulance, and probably police? Where at? Is it a motorcycle driver?
Something that I never really planned or thought about is getting in a wreck.
I knew that I was always destined to be a trial lawyer. Now, I have a pretty broad experience in the law, but I started practicing and was representing people that were injured, and I was representing insurance companies that were operating against the person that was hurt.
Bills started adding up. I had hospital bills that I had to go get x-rays and MRI and all this other stuff that basically came out of my pocket until Law Tigers got involved.
I became nationally known for doing brain injury and spine injury work. I was representing a lot of motorcycle riders who unfortunately are subject to very serious injuries.
The guys that it came out to my house when I was all laid up, filled out the paperwork, mailed it in for me. A lot of Tigers helped me recover that plus what I didn't know about.
How can we help the most people? Doing what I love to do, which is to ride motorcycles and to represent those that are injured and get their families back in the place they need to be to get their life back.
If you ride, you obviously know Law Tigers. I mean, in my book, I go to rallies, I see them. They're there for us riders, help support us when we are hit or, taken down. Don't hesitate, call them Law Tigers.
We all know that safety comes first, but you don't want to look like your parents are sending you on a bike ride. Here at Micro DOT Helmets, we're focused on lightweight DOT certified helmets that protect and still look great, so you don't have to look like that mushroom from Super Mario. If you do have an accident, we'll ship you a fresh new helmet. Real lifetime warranty, only at Micro DOT Helmets, a veteran-owned business.
And welcome back, everybody, to the award-winning 99% Radio Network with 12 Mongo, and welcome back to the fold, Sideshow.
Thank you, brothers.
So I don't know how much y'all can see in the background, but we have a number of guests from Omega Gamma Delta. We have the president, John Effin Walsh.
Thank you.
out of the room right now from Law Tigers, one of our
I
sponsors.
don't know where the hell you want me to put this cake.
TJ
Paul's like,
Components.
move it this way.
One of our good friends from here in Arlington, we have Demi Stewart, and another great friend of the show, Megan Cruz Miller. We got folks bringing John some welcome back gifts. And by the way, that cake right there was courtesy
Welcome back,
of,
Muhammad. What the hell is that?
Well, hey, it was.
We get a good price on secondhand cakes.
Yeah, it was in the 5-day, the ones that off to the side, best used if, by January 31st, and we got it. No, all seriousness, Jude helped get that cake, and Jude, if you're still listening in, I have misplaced the name of a young lady actually in your honor made that cake, and Jude.
And you ruined it.
And
I saw the way you were carrying this thing. It must. Like an upside down pizza.
I thought it was an empty container. We got out of the truck and was walking on the sidewalk. I was
I was like, what did you do?
why is he carrying that?
Well, this is like the leaning tower.
I slipped when I stepped off the curb.
Leaning tower
I'm
of
sorry.
cake.
But it's not going to be any less delicious, and it's the top
right.
part that counts, Mohammed. Oh, wait, did she not cross that off and put John on there?
No.
Damn. Well, it was either that cake or the one that said congratulations, to the lucky couple, and we were going to cross your name off, and congratulations, Sideshow, but. It had all the little flowers on it. That didn't seem like to be too appropriate.
Big shout out! You brought up Judy, man. Big shout out to Judy and Patriot Sandwich Company for. I tell you, she did a lot of traveling. She ran from her house up in Rockwall all the way up to the Patriot Sandwich Company, and then to my house. She dropped off sandwiches. I can't thank her enough. That was wonderful.
Caller, you're on the air with the 99% Radio Network. Who are we talking to? Hello, caller.
Yep.
Huh?
I know.
All right. Well, we're trying. Your fans are trying.
It's my insurance company. I'm telling you. You mentioned a hot tub. They're like, we're not paying any of that.
No, I did get a glance at it. Your Pornhub account has expired while you were gone.
I just renewed it.
They're trying to get you to renew. So, I'll be quicker on the draw.
They weren't allowed. You weren't allowed any Pornhub in rehab. They were strictly did not like it. So they're probably saying, well, where were you for the last 30 days?
Well, all right. So getting back to where we left off, kind of on a serious note. Obviously, Sideshow, you are loved and respected by many people because you're a real dude, and that's why we love you. Because
last time I went to the bathroom, I found it out. Yeah, I'm a real dude.
Because you put your money where your mouth is, literally, and leading up to Christmas time and the holiday season, you had been running wide open, helping people, going here, going there. We've told a number of those stories that we could tell on the air about what you do, and what we want to talk about a little bit today is what happens when you hit that wall. Especially, it's not exclusive to citizens, but especially if you've been a first responder or a veteran or both, you are, odds are, more likely to suffer a PTI, some kind of post-traumatic injury that you carry with you for ages. And I think it's safe to say, just to set the last plank in the stage, is that we're from an era that you take those things and you suppress them. Our fathers taught us to, you got a major artery cut there, throw some dirt on it, wrap it in duct tape, and going out and play till the sun goes down.
Right.
That's how we handled things, but
And still do.
and
we
still do to a lot of. Just before I go there, Jude said it was Vanessa Vidal made the cake. She's a great cake baker. She made a great one there. I tasted it.
I'm sure it was straight when you made it.
I'm sorry. Honestly, I tripped going off there and turned that thing. Jude, I almost dumped the whole damn thing.
I'm sure it's Vanessa Vidal.
What did I say?
Vidal.
Did I?
Yeah.
Vidal.
Vidal.
All right. Whatever. Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead and prove my point.
Thank you, Vanessa.
Thank you, Vanessa, for making the cake. Hey, things are just right back to normal, aren't they, Paul? So Take it from there.
Take what from where?
What I just gave you. I just served you up. I served you cake.
A broken one? No, no. Getting to what you just said, man. I had what they call a bucket dump, and what a bucket dump is the traumas that I've experienced over the last 30 years through EMS, fire, and PD. They never really weighed heavy. I never, it wasn't something that I really had nightmares on or flashbacks. I've had some trigger moments. They weren't big. I'm not going to diminish the traumas, but they were nothing that was really weighing heavy on me. You know what I'm saying? But they've built up, and I'll go into December 27th real quick, and because of somebody, another firefighter, who was on the Mad Radio Show, who gave me the courage to do to open up about a childhood trauma, was what caused me to spiral out of control. And it's not because I released it, it's because all the other traumas did not know how to process it, did not have the coping skills. So going back, and what I found out after 30 days in recovery was, if you don't have the coping skills to deal with the traumas, okay, you're going to fall. There's no doubt about it. This was 53 years in the making. From a childhood trauma, and I'll let everybody know, when I was younger, between 7 and 8, probably about 7 and 9 years old, I was sexually molested by a cousin that I held in me till I was 43 years. Never told anybody, never told a family member, never told anybody. So it weighed heavy on me. With all the other traumas on top of it, once I released that, it was just an explosion waiting to happen. And we all have childhood traumas. We all have things that happen in the past. As first responders, as veterans, we bury those childhood traumas, but they're still there. They're still in our subconscious. And what I found out is since I was young, I was running on fight or flight. All right, that's midbrain thinking, and you don't process anything out of your prefrontal cortex in your front of your mind. You don't know how to. Your coping skills are diminished because of midbrain thinking, and I never knew this. It's until I've seen multiple therapists over the last 30 days, and I've gotten to a range where I'm able to. My coping skills are getting better. So, my word of advice to just people out there, to first responders, to anybody out there who has dealt with a trauma, the more you hold it in, it's going to come out one day. It's going to eat you away. It's going to cause major destruction in your life. So you have to make sure you process that in the best way possible. I just did not have the processing skills, and it threw me right down the rabbit hole.
So let's talk about that. December 27th, you hit a figurative wall, and everything came to the surface. A week or so later, you're on your way to Utah to Chateau Recovery.
Correct.
You want to tell us, and that's where you've been for the last 30 days, recovering.
Right. With snow bunnies.
Yeah. So, tell us about that.
Well, one thing I got to give a big shout out to all the members and the staff at Chateau Recovery, the clients. It's not a recovery place where you would think that like Nurse Ratchet comes out giving medication and you're in straitjackets, and that's only if you want to be. Chateau Recovery is an old bed and breakfast, surrounded by the mountainsides, but they're clinical psychologists, they're doctors that they have on staff. It's not a one size fits all. It's not like they're going to just throw one thing at you and say, hey, this is what you have to learn. They give you a bunch of different tools to work with. I mean, I sat in AA meetings, I sat in NA meetings, and being kind of closed-minded to some of those, because I'm not an alcoholic, I don't do drugs, but the tools that I found out that they were handing out kind of fit post-traumatic stress in a way, so I use those as well. These mala beads that I got on my arm are from the Bhutism. We did a lot of stuff from the Buddhist scripture. not that I'm very much into Buddhism, but you know what? I took something out of it. I learned a little bit about it. So that's one thing about the Chateau recovery that's unlike most recovery places out there, is that they fit the treatment to the individual. The individual doesn't fit the treatment, you know. So they did a wonderful job. Long days start at 7. You're done at 7 at night. So you're going through group therapies, you're going through meditation, you're going through, yes, yoga. I know you wanted to see me in my yoga pants, but I wasn't wearing them.
Oh, he's got pictures of you in that green slingshot.
You know, I met and sat down with some of people who were suffering from narcotics addictions and alcohol addictions, where these people would have never crossed my path in the real world because I would have judged them. You know, I would have looked at them differently. I would have had that fight or flight. I would have had that police syndrome in them. But you know what? Their addictions are no different than addiction to service, addiction to, you know, any type of other addictions, Pornhub addictions, whatever it is. You know, they're real people trying to get help. And it was a one eye opening experience. You're supposed to laugh down my head.
So, tell us about your first week there.
First week there was kind of more of a transition in. You go to see, you meet your therapist, you sit down, you meet the other clients in the house. They have a capacity of 16. We were full. There were first responders from all over the country there. There were 10 first responders there, and there was about 6 civilians there. But we all commingled together. And then after your first week, you really jump into the therapies and what works for you, and they try to curtail everything that is going to fit you. I went through EMDR, went through brain spotting. I was going to take this other thing called TRE, but I ended up leaving too soon. And then we got hit with COVID. The whole house actually was stricken by COVID. My roommate was one of the worst hit. And we were all in quarantine. So we were quarantined in our rooms. They put computers in our rooms, and we were doing everything through Zoom, which was still amazing. They adapted and overcame, man. The staff was amazing how they did it in 2 days' notice. They had everybody working, all computers up and working. They had the therapists out there working. Even some of the people from the employees were stricken with COVID. So we were down to a diminished staff, and they still never faltered. Food, service, everything. All we had to do was get on a radio. Hey, we need can you send up some coffee? Boom. 2 seconds later, somebody would be up there with coffee. Hey, I need a headache medication. Boom, they'd be up there. These people ran up and down 3 flights of stairs. I got to give them the props that they deserve, man, because they were really worked under adverse conditions. The National Guard shut every other recovery. The National Guard shut every other therapy and recovery house down around us. Sent all the clients home. So, but they seen the way Chateau was running their center, how they were keeping people quarantined, how they were disinfecting and everything else. The National Guard said, you guys can stay open, you guys are doing it right, and you guys are protecting the service. So everything in Utah got shut down except Chateau, because they really took an initiative on helping the clients that were there.
So we're really good about saying to people that we'll listen, and we're always encouraging people to speak up when they get to that point. But we're not very good about taking our own advice in that case.
You've said that to me numerous times.
I've said it to you numerous times, and unless you have a level of trust built up with somebody over a long period of time because of shared experiences or whatever it is that binds you together, you're not going to open up. We'll hear the advice and we give it because it's good advice, but we're really bad about taking it ourselves. How did they break through? And I mean, I know you well. How did they get your trust so that you would open up to them? did they have special techniques? How'd they do it?
It's the electric shock treatment and the cattle prods.
They hooked your
make
nads
you go,
up to the
they hook
the
these
jumper
things up to your
cables?
nipples.
No, but it was easy for you. You wanted to talk to somebody.
No, actually, I didn't want to talk to anybody. And you bring up such a great point because me and a lot of the first responders discussed this in group therapy, and this goes out to all first responders. I have brothers here. I have brothers surrounding me. I have family surrounding me. Never, ever, ever would open up and make myself so vulnerable to any people that I've even worked with for 30 years, right? But you walk into the chateau, something happens, man. No, getting the electric prods out away, but something happens. They make you feel. They bring you to that comfort zone. They bring you to that level where, you know what? I was in the door probably 2 hours, sitting at the kitchen table with a firefighter from one state and a nurse from another state that was there. They were clients, right? And I brought up the sexual trauma to them.
You initiated it?
I initiated it. They asked me what I was there for. I brought it up. That's how safe that place makes you feel.
Wow.
That makes, there's no judgment. There's no shaming. There is no, everybody's there to have an issue, man. And from the moment you walk in the door, Danny, the CEO, we had a 45-minute car ride from Salt Lake City Airport to the chateau, and we had a lot of windshield time to discuss stuff. And I tell you, even that car ride brought my level of stress down to tremendous levels. And when I walked in the door, every client just you opened up to, because that's how it was. Like, it's hard to explain, man. It was a safe zone. And not that I want everybody to go to rehab or anybody that it's something that people should experience and should have that comfort level with their brothers, with their sisters out there.
So what advice would you give to us or to some of the folks that are really tied into #WalkTheBridge? What advice would you give to Speck over in the UK as he tries to kick off the effort over there for, in a very short amount of time, earning the trust of someone? For example, we talk a lot about peer support.
Right.
And that's something that we're offering now, right? Through the VROC and through Third Watch and through the Bridge and these connections that went through the 99.
Right.
And we say we'll listen and we'll be there for you. If you call, we'll come. But how do you get that person? Say you're
you don't get that person. That person gets you.
So they have to want to do it.
They really do, and it's a comfort level that's just it's got to grow over time.
Is some of it environmental, like your surroundings, and you're in a nice, a cool looking place. It's you got the bunny skiing by and all that. I mean, it's
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, what your surroundings do mean a lot, and that does mean a lot. And December 27th, my bucket dump, I noticed a lot of things the damage that I caused in my own home were things that I had up that brought up bad memories, that sparked memories that I didn't even think of, that I wouldn't even have thought of, that I saw every single day and never really paid any attention to it. But you know what? It goes into your subconscious, and it festers. And for me to cause damage to that was one of the key points in my therapy. They have what they call a Watson room. If you look it up, a Watson room, it's a tranquil room. It's subdued. It's soft colors, and you can make your Watson room on however you want to do it. But it brings your stress levels down. There's so much stuff that our brains do without us even knowing it. A trauma, you can think about a trauma once, but your brain thinks about it 10,000 times in an hour. All right. So your midbrain's constantly working. It's constantly working and constantly feeding that trauma, and you work off that fight or flight. What the damage that I caused was due to you've all been in my house. You saw my patch wall, right? Surrounding my patch wall were headlines from 9/11. Something that I thought I kept up there as memorabilia, right? My patch wall, I mean, I loved it. I value those patches. I had probably 500 patches on that wall. I ripped it down, and it was not because of the patches, because of the headlines. Because I would view those headlines every single day I walked in that room, and subconsciously it was eating away at me. So it's not only what you think or what you experience; it's what you visually see every single day that really affects the trauma in your life.
I went through that same thing. I took everything off my walls because I used to have all the stuff up, all the
Mm-hmm.
awards, all the pictures. Took all that stuff down, put it all in boxes. I'm just now breaking some things back out very slowly. But yeah, all that shit went away.
We'll paint your room this weekend.
Right, we're going to go paint the room this week. But what I also found out is, you know the commercials for the Boy Scouts of America, all the lawsuits that are going on for the sexual trauma. What I did find out is every time that commercial would come on the radio, or on the TV, I would walk out of my room inadvertently. I would never watch those commercials. I would never watch commercials about boys being sexually assaulted. For some reason, I would just inadvertently get up and walk and go grab a cup of coffee, go grab a soda. I would not be in the room because my subconscious was in that fight or flight, and it would flee the exposure to whatever was on TV. So it's weird how your brain activates on certain things.
So I got a question for you, Mongo. You bring up, does that painting of Matt trigger you in any way? Is that something that when you look at it, because I mean I get what he's saying and it makes sense to me, but that's been there, since you moved back. It was there and it's been there.
Yeah, no, that for a long time it wasn't up, but where it is right now, I don't consciously see it all the time. I do think about him. Matt used to bother me a lot. It doesn't bother me so much anymore. As a matter of fact, I actually this year the anniversary didn't even strike in my head that it was the anniversary. So it just it fades. But for a while that wasn't up. It was one of the things that was put away.
Wow. So first week they're gaining your trust, introducing you to their programs. What happens during week 2?
Well, the days are pretty much the same. They're all compiled on the same. You just learn more. Your basic day starts off at 6:30 in the morning. They wake you up. Well, you got a break?
No, we're good. We got a few more minutes.
6:30 in the morning. They come knocking on your door. 7 o'clock, you're down for either. There's a couple of different meditations or yoga, and yes, I had a friggin' yoga mat and a pillow.
You had a chef too, didn't you?
The chefs were phenomenal. I mean, the food was good. Can't complain. It wasn't lunchroom food. Friday nights, you had ribeye steaks. You had a good healthy breakfast. You had a good lunch. They really treated you well. The chefs were 4-star chefs. They did you right. And if you didn't like something, if you put it in and said, "Hey, listen, I don't like steak," they'll cook you fish. They'll cook you whatever you want. So they were top notch.
But they put you in a separate therapy if you say you don't like steak. You guys are weird.
No, that's when more cattle prods come out.
So it was in the second week, I think, that I got my first text message from you. It was real short and sweet, and then we got to talk for a minute or two after that.
But you go through phases. You go through your orientation phase, then you go into phase 1, and then you go into phase 2. And during your orientation phase, you're not allowed to use any social media. You're not allowed to use your cell phone. You can't call back home. It's not until you get into phase 1 where they'll give you 30 minutes a day with your cell phone to call family and friends or to just give a quick text, but you can't go on social media. There's also no TVs. You're not allowed to watch any. There is no TVs in the house. You can watch
the distractions that you normally have.
Well, you wouldn't be. You'd be surprised on how much just watching the morning news for 5 minutes can really ruin your day. Put you in a different mindset.
But in that second week, when we talked, and I know you pretty well now, I could tell you were triggered, and you admitted as much. You said I'm stressing out. Was it something? Was it the baggage that you brought? Was it something new besides the fact that you're locked down? And how did they deal with that in terms of your therapy?
Well, I don't remember the exact time we spoke, but it was probably either I was getting into lockdown from COVID, or I just came out of EMDR.
Did you wet yourself, by the way?
Huh?
Did you wet yourself during EMDR?
Only twice.
Only twice?
EMDR, actually, EMDR did not. EMDR and brain spotting really didn't have a great effect on me. I tried. I probably went in there with too many expectations, but what they do is they do bring up these traumas. They do make you exhausted. So you probably caught me on a downhill slide on that. I had 2 issues in therapy that I crashed, and that was normal because, like I said, what our brain does, and I'll explain it real quick without getting into the psychology about it. It's dopamine. When your dopamine pours into your brain, you can either go into a hypervigilant state or you can go into a hypovigilant state. So my moods went from a hypervigilant state to a no dopamine level. They crashed, and I went into a hypovigilant state, which caused me to just, like I said, crash and fall into a severe depression. One thing that I was happy about is that I never lost my temper. I never got angry. So whatever therapy they did in that first 10 days, okay, I never hit an anger spot where I was ready to hit something or punch something or break something. I just went into that hypervigilant and crashed right below, which they said is normal because of all the therapies you're getting and everything being thrown at you at once. So,
all right. So we're coming up on a break here, a commercial break. Not quite yet, but we're getting there. What I would like to do, we're going to continue your journey to make it back here today. But
John drove me.
He
made me drive his car, so that was my journey.
But just let Dr. Phil talk.
You did not call me Dr. Bill, did you?
Come on, really? More Southern drawl. Come on.
That was much more Maury Povich, I thought.
Oh, am I waiting for a lie detector test then?
So what I'd like to do is, this is your seat, brother. I've just been keeping it warm for you, and we have some guests here today. I would like to, how many we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We got 8.
Thank God, because if you got to go to 10, you wouldn't be able to count that high.
I would not be able to count that high.
Count as 2 people.
I would like to. I'd like to offer a toast. I'm so happy that you're back. We're happy you're back, and I would like to raise a toast, go to commercial, and I would like to give you your seat back.
All right. Well, Mongo, if you would have brought liquor on any other time, if the sun was shining, if there was clouds in the sky, if it was cold, if it was warm, he doesn't need a reason to just pour a shot of whiskey.
Yeah, right now you are the excuse.
That's right. I am just part of your addiction. That's right. We're not using that one.
And a good part you are.
I'll be part of your recovery.
Well, it's.
I got to thank TJ for these wonderful hats, man.
Oh, they're awesome, aren't they?
Law Tigers is number 1, man.
They are. If you get in a motorcycle accident, what's your advice?
Go to Law Tigers. Shut
up your mouth.
Shut up and call Law Tigers.
That's right. And TJ will take care of you.
Just not after the shot.
Or get you taken care of. We're going to give one to our brother Paul because he does such a damn good job. Pass that around, John F. and Walsh. Please pass that on. Pass it around to Mongo.
All righty. And this is a wonderful H&M whiskey, right?
Yes, it is. This is Texas rye whiskey.
There you go.
I need it. There you go. There you go. And I'll give myself one. I was just going to hit the bottle, but
I figured that. Why bother putting it in a plastic
why bother
cup?
putting it in a cup? But
just put a nipple on that bottle and.
So, to Sideshow, our brother, our friend, great guy.
God,
we
thank
love
you guys
brother.
so much.
We got your back.
Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Ching ching.
Salute,
Cheers.
salute.
If you'd like to talk to Sideshow, 214-556.
I would have just spilled it if I would.
6239, 214-556-6239. And with that, we'll break for a commercial and we'll be back in just a couple minutes.
All right.
I went to the Street Vibration Fest in Reno. I was on my way back, 50 miles from home, and then the guy wanted out of the express lane because he didn't want to pay us $6 and swooped me and locked him up. I went down.
Number 911, do you need police, fire, ambulance, and probably police? Where at? Just hit a motorcycle driver?
Something that I never really planned or thought about. It's getting in a wreck.
I knew that I was always destined to be a trial lawyer. Now, I had pretty broad experience in the law, but I started practicing and was representing people that were injured, and I was representing insurance companies that were operating against the person that was hurt.
Bills started adding up. I had hospital bills that I had to go get x-rays and MRI and all this other stuff that basically came out of my pocket until Law Tigers got involved.
I became nationally known for doing brain injury and spine injury work. I was representing a lot of motorcycle riders who unfortunately are subject to very serious injuries.
The guys that it came out to my house when I was all laid up, filled out the paperwork, mailed it in for me. A lot of Tigers helped me recover that plus what I didn't know about.
How can we help the most people? Doing what I love to do, which is to ride motorcycles and to represent those that are injured and get their families back in the place they need to be to get their life back.
If you ride, you obviously know Law Tigers. I mean, in my book, I go to rallies, I see them. They're there for us riders, help support us when we are hit or, taken down. Don't hesitate, call them Law Tigers.
Let them sit here.
I'll just wait for you guys to be done. Go ahead. Welcome back to the 99% Radio Network, broadcasting you live from the Fishbowl Radio Network studios here in Globe Life Park, the heart of the entertainment district in Arlington, Texas. Man, we are sitting here, and what a celebration this is. I'm so emotional, really. I don't think I've been like this in 30 days. I think I'm getting some estrogen shots because I'm starting to tear up. I feel like I'm watching a Hallmark channel. You guys have been wonderful. We're sitting here with TJ from Law Tigers, JFW John Walsh with Omega, Demi Stewart from, her in all over Arlington, and Megan, who brought a beautiful cake. Man, you guys were wonderful. I can't thank you guys enough for being here and sharing some H&M whiskey. So, TJ, haven't seen you in a while, man.
It's been a bit.
Thank you for bringing the Law Tigers banner here, man. That's wonderful. Yeah. Tell us a little bit, for those who don't know what Law Tigers is, please tell us a little bit about it.
Well, we're an association of attorneys that help folks that have been in motorcycle accidents. We'll help you with your property damage, personal injury, all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of different things we do as well, helping local charities. We're involved with local dealerships on a whole bunch of different levels. We do a lot of events to put the word out there that we're there to help in case of an accident. So it's just a whole bunch of different things that we do to be a part of the motorcycle community and just be resources to anybody that rides.
TJ brought a lot of, as 12 would say, swag in, as the rest of the human world says, swag in. But hats, face covers, the sign behind us. Yeah. So it's always good to see TJ and his swag.
And swag. I love it,
I
man.
must have the same accent because I say swag.
Swag.
Too.
Swag.
Yeah. It's swag.
It's swag.
The one thing I like about Law Tigers, and this is why anybody who rides a motorcycle has to make sure you take down their number, is that if you're sick, right, and if you have any heart problems or vascular problems or lung problems, right, you're not going to go to a regular family doctor. You're going to go to a specialist in the field, somebody that knows about the heart, the lungs, and that's the same with Law Tigers. You don't want to just go to any lawyer who does not know about the make, the models, the actual riding
Well,
experience of a motorcyclist.
The ins and out of motorcycle riding, you're going to get a regular attorney that doesn't necessarily know what bikes do, what they're capable of, what they're not capable of, what people's reactions are, as opposed to a specialist that deals with motorcycles.
Right. You want the experts in the field. So especially during a motorcycle accident or any type of injury that you sustain, you want somebody that's going to be an expert, that's going to know down to your riding experience. They're going to take even that into account. Say you were trained by somebody that may have not had the capabilities of training you as a rider, right? You get that sometimes. You get these people that say, "Oh, we'll train you how to ride a motorcycle." They charge you money, but they aren't certified themselves.
Well, it's the difference taking your bike to a regular mechanic versus taking it to a motorcycle mechanic. The regular mechanic is going to know oil changes, but he's not necessarily going to know timing issues or why something's not happening, why it's not firing. As opposed to a motorcycle specialist that works on motorcycles, you know what? I've seen this 1,000 times before.
Right.
That's the difference between going to a regular accident attorney versus law tigers.
Right.
Well, and to take it even further than that, something that I think a lot of folks may not know about us is our attorneys are always local attorneys. The office here for North Texas is right here in Farmers Branch. We service all of North Texas, so we're local attorneys that help deal with your accidents. So we know the ins and outs of the court systems here. We know the judges. We know the other attorneys that are going to be involved in the cases. So we have a definite advantage in that we're knowledgeable about motorcycle riding, but we're also knowledgeable about the community that we live in and how to handle those cases.
Well, let me ask something, because what we have a lot is, all right, we'll take that phone call in 1 second. Just hold on, caller. Motorcyclists are known for going out of state, for taking their long rides into adjoining states.
Mm-hmm.
You, Law Tigers, is nationwide.
Yeah, we'll take care of you anywhere you go.
So you have experts in every state that will get you in contact with somebody. God forbid you're on that long ride during the summer. You go to Louisiana, you go to Oklahoma, wherever you're going to ride to, you are protected by Law Tigers.
We'll support you anywhere you go.
What's the best thing for guys to do, man? Keep it right in their phone, keep it in their backpack, or where should they write their number down?
Well, definitely in the phone. It's 1-800-LAW-TIGERS. You can't mess that up. But we also, anytime you see me in an event or you go into one of the shops here locally in North Texas, our materials are there. Pick up one of our document wallets. It has all the information that you need to contact us. We've got backer cards and cards that you keep in your wallet and on your keychain. So you have that number available to you anytime. You can call us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. No matter where you are, we'll route you to the correct office and we'll get to taking care of you. So it's easy. Just carry that number, save it in your phone. If you have internet access and you want to check us out online, it's lawtigers.com. Easy to remember. Just check us out.
And like 12 said before, if you do get into an accident, what's the best advice that you can give?
Call us first. Don't say anything to anybody. Don't call your insurance company, anything like that, because we're going to help you walk through the insurance claim. We're also going to help figure out what happened during the accident and tell you exactly how to handle it. So call us first. We'll take care of everything else.
Now, when you say don't say anything, because some people may get a little intimidated by the law enforcement. Hey, what happened? What was the problem?
Sure. Well, and if you think about it, and I can tell you from my own experience from my own accident a couple of years ago, you have this giant adrenaline dump. And you don't always know how badly you're hurt. You don't always know exactly what happened at the very moment that it happens. So rather than put yourself in a position where you might say something incorrectly, or, it can be an innocent thing that you're saying something from one perspective, but what actually happened was slightly different. And later on, you may remember it differently. You want to avoid those situations that might put you, in a corner that you can't get out of. So just, keep your mouth shut. Take the ambulance ride, get checked out. There's a lot of times, I can tell you from my experience, when I popped up off the ground, I thought, man, I hurt, but I think I'm okay. And then to find out, a short time afterwards that, I was not okay. I needed some major surgery, and, at the moment, I thought everything was fine. So
the adrenaline.
Yeah, exactly. So just ride that out. Be quiet, call us, let us know what happened. We'll get everything going from there. Take the ambulance ride, get checked out for sure, because even if you don't think you need it, you probably do.
All right, man. We still got the caller online? Hey, caller, welcome to the 99% Radio Network. You are on the air.
Hi, this is Angel. How are you doing?
Hey, you know what? Angel Carter. You could just always remember that accent. I can tell that accent from a mile away. What's up, Angel?
Well, it is awesome to see the whole team together. It makes my heart glad to see you back, and I just had to call in and say hi. I've missed you. Love to see you all back together. The cakes look delicious, by the way.
Come on down. You're over here in Arlington. Come on down and have a piece.
We got whiskey.
And we got whiskey. Angel, I am so I am so sorry I missed the Fish Creek cleanup.
You were there in spirit. We missed you.
I really wanted to be there. It's something I take great pride in. You have grown that Fish Creek cleanup through 2 counties now, through between Arlington and Grand Prairie, right?
That's correct, but this year Grand Prairie was having no in-person events with Parks and Recs, so we were back down to Arlington this year. However, we did have volunteers that took the initiative and went to the other side of the county line anyway, so we got some up there. We had a good turnout despite COVID-19 or with COVID-19. We had a little over 200 people. We had almost 200 officially that signed the waiver. And that's one of the things that people don't understand is important because, with having Heroes Bridge and other 501c3s that donors' dollars, we have to account for them what we're doing.
Sure.
So, yeah, I wish everyone would sign up that was participating, but that didn't happen. But we'll work on it for next year. And we've got lots of other things coming up. And let's see, the Ferguson Road Initiative would be the next one that I can recall. Well, and Food Pantry Saturday. But
Food Pantry is always, right? You can donate food for the Food Pantry at any time, correct?
Yes, you can. We work with Arlington Charities as well as Parent Area Food Bank, and they're the ones that provide the food for the pantry at St. Andrews the second Saturday of every month. And we're always looking for volunteers to help pack it up and get it into the cars. I do traffic duty. If we had some other people, that would be great. And it's going to be cold this weekend, though, so everyone needs to bundle up that's going to be out there.
Well, Angel, it's always a pleasure. You deal with the Travis Manion. You're a mentor with Travis Manion. You're now a speaker with Travis Manion Foundation. You also deal with the Mission Continues with Yvette Jett, right? You are.
I have actually taken Yvette Jett's position as platoon leader for Arlington.
Wow.
That happened while you were gone, so you missed that one.
Oh, well, congratulations on your infield promotion.
Well, thank you. I still get the same pay.
There you go. There you go. The Mission Continues, wonderful
for me,
organization.
Yes, for me, that's how I deal with my PTSD. I know that's something that we talk about a lot here on your show, and I like to use the technique called distraction, and I stay busy to stay out of my head. And then when that doesn't work, I have phone numbers. I just start calling people to talk and say, hey, how you doing? So,
hey,
I have group on
you sound
Monday
like one of the
and group
Wayans
on
brothers.
Wednesday, so we're still working on that stuff too.
Listen, Angel, you do just as much as I do. You take a lot out. You take those big bites into the community and into organizations. Please take care of yourself. I know you do a lot of self-help trips. And you do try to watch as much as you take on, but please be careful. Check your own six and make sure that your head is in the game because, like I said, it does sneak up on you, and I don't want to see anything happen to you.
Well, the family and friends kind of help keep that in check. Most of my family's in North Carolina, so at least twice a year I head out there for 2 weeks. And you drive all that way? I'm like, yes, because that drive is when I take my time to go through the stuff in my head. That's the time where I have to think and process. And then when I get to where I'm going after 18 or 20 or 22 hours of driving, depending on traffic and weather and accidents and construction,
You're getting me
The best
stressed just
sleep I
thinking
get.
about
I
it.
don't have my brain running at all. I lay down and I'm gone.
Angel, where did you live, or where do you have family in North Carolina?
Oh, Nash County, Edgecombe County, Wilson County, Halifax County, and that's all towards like the Rocky Mount area, 45 minutes northeast of Raleigh.
Right.
And then I have family towards Kannapolis and Charlotte.
Yeah. Well, my daughter went to college at Appalachian State, and I did most of my service time the east end of North Carolina. I love North Carolina. I bought a house there at one time. Eventually had to sell it because my evil ex-wife didn't want to move after we bought it, so I sold it. But I was a property owner in North Carolina because I love that state.
Yeah.
Yes, well, it's got a lot of beautiful history and scenery, and a lot of beautiful people too. But I love Texas. This is where I landed at, and I love the community here in Dallas, Fort Worth, and people like Sideshow 12, Mongo, and Sam, who's on the next show, and Dion and Yvette, and there are just so many wonderful role models here in the area for me to look up to and emulate, and I get to work with them and volunteer with them, and it's awesome.
And we get to work with you, man, and that's awesome. This is a team. This is a network. Our tribe is just growing bigger and bigger. We're all there for each other. It's not just one person. We are all there for each other. It's one tribe.
We are, and I appreciate y'all and appreciate you being here, and I love the show every week, and I did join in late, so I have to go back later and watch the Mongo log. I was seeing wonderful comments about
Thanks
it.
for calling in, Angel. We appreciate you.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, thank you. Love y'all. Talk later.
Love you
See
too,
Bye.
Angel. She is, that's another woman that goes and goes and goes every single weekend. You see her out doing the Fish Creek cleanup. She's grown that here in Arlington. She has taken so many, I think it was 14 roll-off dumpsters of garbage out of the creeks. So the trails are beautified. She does so much stuff for raising, getting food for the food banks here in Arlington. Great woman, constantly going. Hats off to Angel. And a Marine by that. She's a veteran. She's given to our country, and now she's given back to her community. So, Angel, thank you so much for everything you do. He's been sitting quiet, and I do gotta.
That's weird.
I know. We gotta give him props. It's It's probably because he can't even hear what we're talking about right now. John Walsh.
As soon as you said here, I knew you were leading up to me.
You knew that, right?
Forget
You knew that. John, you have become such a Baba Booey of the show. We're gonna start having people calling and just screaming JFW. See, that's what you can do next time you're gonna call into a show, any show. Just scream out the words JFW. That's where they know it's like Baba Booey. John, you with Omega Gamma Delta, it started back in 1901.
1902.
1902.
But today is all about you, John, and welcoming you back here.
All right,
And
don't
you're
take
an
on the
Omega
whole
Gamma
talk
Delta
show
brother.
hosting.
You're an Omega Gamma Delta brother.
No.
And you're back to work. You're feeling better, and I'm here today for you.
But you know
And
what?
I'm the guy that doesn't call every
See,
day.
this is why I shouldn't have had him talk. He
I'm the
just
guy
keeps
who
going.
doesn't call every day, but I'm the guy you could call every day.
That's right. But what I wanted to thank you, brother, thank you. But you
I
know
love
what?
you, man.
I love you too, man. But Omega has been a big part of my life as well as yours. You joined Omega back in what, 74?
43 years ago.
43 years ago. And when we talk about brotherhood, we talk about our motorcycle clubs and the brotherhood within our motorcycle clubs. The fraternity also has a brotherhood.
Yeah, been around since 1902.
Yep.
Vince Lombardi was in Omega.
Yeah, you got Vince Lombardi. You got some.
A lot of
You got
famous
some
people.
prestigious hitters here in the Texas area.
Yeah.
You got the Darwins.
We have the chapter in Frisco, Dr.
Yep.
Beta.
Yep.
There's a lot of chapters on the East Coast. You got Dr.
Larry
Gamma,
North.
New York.
Larry North, who owns all the a lot of the Larry North gyms here in Texas, was also a Fishbowl radio host back in the day.
Delta Alpha in Florida with the Godfather Mike Famar.
Yeah.
His chapter, Delta, Mark Quirin. There's a lot of chapters, and everybody's doing a lot of good stuff.
You know, and we see it all the time. You know how we run our fundraisers and we run our charity events. You see bicycle giveaways over in Florida.
Now, I want to talk to Mark Quirin about getting together with you guys when you do the Orange County.
Before we go to
Chopper.
Orange County Choppers, they're going to try to support us down there.
Oh, very good.
They're in Clearwater.
Yeah,
Delta chapter.
They're going to try to give some support down there and give a big shout out and a big showing for, welcoming the Orange County Choppers out of New York and into Florida.
Well, I'll try to make it a point to wear my my T-shirt.
We got you a size medium. Just
No.
Because we know you like to show off that
you got me.
physique of yours.
You got me extra large.
I got more colors for you, but you got to pay for them.
I will wear my T-shirt under my cut the day that we do the grand opening.
All right, yeah.
Sideshow. You walks like that.
Yeah, we got him a child small.
I do walk like that, but it has nothing to do with muscles. It just has to do with disability. It's like for balance.
I definitely missed this, man. This is amazing. We have so much stuff coming up. We walked into the studio today. We were able to see our picture up on the wall for Show of the Year, which is amazing. That and 12 said it from the moment we signed the contract here with Fishbowl. He goes, "We're gonna make Show of the Year," and then he handed Sammy $500, and guess what? We made Show of the Year. No, that was because all the support and the votes that came in throughout throughout the country, throughout the world. We got a lot of big support over in the UK and Ireland and Switzerland and Italy and France and 48 countries around the world that 99 has touched. It's such an amazing journey. When we talk about my 30-day journey in Utah, doesn't hold a candlestick to what the 99 has accomplished in just 12 months. And it's amazing that Mongo and 12, you guys have done so much networking, because 12 doesn't shut up. And he doesn't even need a microphone for Spectre in the UK to hear him. He just goes outside and starts talking. But man, it's been a great journey with the 99. I can't wait to see what 2021 is going to bring us. COVID hasn't knocked us down. We're not going to let anything knock us down.
Well, hopefully COVID's going to fade to the point where we can continue this journey on the cruise line in October, which will be awesome to travel parts of the world with the biking community and be on the air and share it with everybody around the world.
Yeah, that cruise leaves out of Florida. There's still plenty of cabins, you said, and that's the rally on the high seas. Man, that is going to be an amazing cruise. They got a pirate night. They got a first responders night. They're going to have the entertainment is just top notch. That's going to be every night. And with a ticket purchase, you're invited to all those. There's no extra tickets to get. Once you're on the ship, everything is for you. So I can't wait to be part of this cruise line and visiting all the ports.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time. We'll have to smuggle on some H&M whiskey with us.
Yeah, we're working on methods of smuggling right now. No, we're not, but we are.
I do want to take this time. I know we're having a good time. We have cake, we have liquor, but it would be wrong for me, Demi. It would be wrong for me, and Demi, if you can come up real quick, because I do want to say one thing, and because you've known him a lot more than anybody here in this room. So, being here in Arlington, here at the Fishbowl Studios, and being such a big part of Arlington, Arlington lost a dear member of House of Representatives, correct?
Yes. Yes, Congressman Ron Wright. Yes.
Congressman Ron White. Can you tell us, tell us a little about him? That was a hard loss.
Yes, absolutely a big loss. Happened suddenly, but I will do my best to speak what I know. He passed away suddenly Sunday evening, from what I understand. He did a lot in Arlington. No matter where he stood, he don't make me cry. Okay.
Well, let's celebrate his life. Let's celebrate
He was
his
a
life.
great man. He did a lot of things in Arlington. He was a councilman. He did a lot of philanthropic things here in Arlington. He was a tax assessor for many years in Tarrant County. He became a congressman a few years ago. I worked on his campaign. I can't say enough. He was back the bow tie. That was his hashtag. So, did many things. He was just a great guy, had a great smile, and he meant what he said, and he did what he said, and he stood up for the American people in our district, District 6. He did what he could, and he had lung cancer. He beat it a couple times, went in remission, and COVID a week ago. So,
Every picture I've seen of him, even on your Facebook, you're right. He does have one of those smiles that just lights up a room. He never, any picture you saw of the congressman, he was never in a sad mood. He was always, when they talk about that typical politician about, eating pizza and kissing babies, man, he just brightened up every room that he walked into. And that's not just on your Facebook page. That William Busby,
yes,
another young politician that's coming up, and I looked at his Facebook page, and the same thing. Every picture you see of the senator, the congressman, he lightened up every room that he walked into.
He did a lot here in Arlington and everywhere in the United States. He believed in one thing, and he had a lot of quality, and he stood up for it, and there was no swaying him. And like I always say, he stood by his guns, and there was no swaying, no matter what. And Susan, his wife, Susan Wright, is a wonderful woman, good friends with her, and pray for them daily, their whole family, going through a lot. It's a tough day in Arlington. Flags are half-staff, and it's a sad day. It's a sad day.
Well, at this point in time, I think it would only be right to have a moment of silence for his passing and say a prayer to his families.
Absolutely.
So if we can do that, if we could just hold a quick moment of silence for our beloved lost Ron White from Arlington and all he did, and prayers to his family. So. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Prayers to Ron's family. Thank you, Tim. Since this is just a total, this is a wonderful celebration. Come on up, Megan.
All right, if you must.
I must. Megan, thank you so much for, you brought an amazing cake, and I can't wait to dive into it. But you've been a huge supporter of 22 Kill, of our veteran community, of hashtag Walk the Bridge. You've always been a huge supporter and proponent of the 99% Radio Network and Mad Radio. And on behalf of myself, and I'm sure Mongo and 12, we can't thank you enough for everything you do. But you got to talk into the mic. Get close.
No, you guys are the ones that are doing the work. I'm just supporting everything you all do.
That's a wonderful thing. I mean, as a supporter, what is? Let's talk about the bridge for a minute, because we do have a bridge walk coming up on the 22nd of this month. As a supporter, us as we don't really get to see or really feel too much because we're always organizing something or an event. As a supporter, how does it feel to walk that bridge?
Every time I have done it, I'm walking across, and I look across the water and the peacefulness, and it's very serene. A lot of times I'll walk it with somebody and maybe talk for a moment, but the same time, you know, I just kind of embrace what we're doing, and I feel like it's a nice, you know, very humbling moment to really kind of grasp why we're there, and I look at I believe that some of the you know, along the fence, I feel like there's been times where I stop and I just kind of pause for a minute and
Reflect.
reflect. But it's nice to come together and just really, you know, band together for a movement that is so important. And you guys have brought a lot of attention to it.
Well, I mean, we're going into the UK, which is amazing, and you know, it's hard to explain to somebody about walking on a bridge to support our veterans and to support our first responders. You know, they're like, you know, people I talk to sometimes they don't get it until they get on the bridge and walk it and feel the energy from everybody that's out there that walks that bridge. It becomes, you know, when we started walking it, it was a slab of concrete, walking out a mile and then walking back. But after a few times, you feel the energy, and it translated into that bridge where it was more of a journey, and you saw things that you would never see before, where veterans would pair off together and law enforcement and first responders would pair off together, and they would come off that bridge and they would hug, and they would just share moments together. And that's when we knew it became more than just Highway 66. You know, it just became a bridge of hope. You know, and man, it has been credited right now with saving, I think, 5 lives who were contemplating suicide. And you know, I just hope that journey can get into the UK and across the nation. And if you really want to, if you're listening and you want to start a hashtag Walk the Bridge in your state, your community, anywhere, we welcome it. Give us a shout here. We can help you organize it. We can help you put that together, because you know what? If we can get this going across our nation, we have it in the UK now. If we can get it across our nation, that is a huge support network for our first responders and our vets. We can never forget the ultimate sacrifice that these people have put forth.
It's a big step for us that we have that bridge named Heroes Memorial Bridge, because now, when you're driving across that bridge with somebody in your car going, "Oh, I walk this bridge once a month," people are like, "Oh, really? Wow." Then you go, "Oh, Heroes Memorial Bridge, I walk with that movement once a month."
Right.
Oh, really? What's it about? Because we have a name, we have an identity, and we have a goal, because that would be the memorial park for our fallen veterans and first responders that have succumbed to suicide.
Right, and you know, Karen Solomon with Blue Help and Chris Kazar with the Veterans Resource and Outreach Center have been really on the gas pedal to get this park completed by September 26th. Well, not completed, at least groundbreaking by September 26th, because Karen has gotten now September 26th officially renamed First Responders Day, Law Enforcement Day, and for all the families that go to Washington D.C. in May
15th.
You know, they see their families, their loved ones on the etched on the wall in granite. You know what? The first responders families who also go, they don't get that joy. They don't get that because the departments around the nation do not recognize suicide as a line of duty injury. And they're felt left out in the cold. We have to remember our veterans and our first responders on how they lived, how they performed their jobs, not the way they died. And that's what we're here to represent. And that's what we're going to represent on the 22nd of every month. And that's what we're going to hold true when we develop that park in Rowlett, Texas, groundbreaking on September 26th, with a beautiful, beautiful memorial supplied by Blue Help out of Massachusetts. So it's going to be something that these families can really go and sit and reflect and look over the water, look over Lake Ray Hubbard, and remember their loved ones for who they were. So I can't thank you enough for your support, Megan. You're like, I'm nothing. I'm just there.
I did, and I don't know if we want to do it now, but I did bring you guys something to celebrate your win.
Oh.
Obviously with the radio station. So,
Okay.
I mean, I'm going to open it for you.
Okay.
But, I mean, all three of them. But I had these made before. Mongo?
Oh
We
my
got-
God.
We got
Thank you.
some
Wow.
some cups that will definitely. You guys really. You guys.
Oh.
That's.
Those are amazing. Oh, that's
They got your-
12s.
And they got your name.
Turn around.
But you guys really unbelievable with winning the show. You completely deserve it. 100%. Like you guys worked. And of course, Sideshow. Yeah,
He's
yeah.
great. Megan, thank you very much.
You're
Yes.
so welcome. Yeah, you
That
guys.
deserves a
are-
huge hug.
Aw, you guys seriously.
Thank
guys,
you.
Oh,
Thank you.
Guys kicked
And
ass on the
thank you
show.
so much, baby.
Don't you like how I open your gifts? I know.
I saw that and I said, oh, that's mine.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Wow, that, that is beautiful. That is beautiful. God.
Very nice.
Now I got something to put
Supposed
my
to be your
coffee.
patch on the other side. Your.
It's amazing. Man, this is gonna.
Thanks.
Man, it's a swag day.
It's a swag
It's a
day.
swag day.
All the gifts.
balloons.
Aw.
Balloons too. Talk about
Nice.
efficiency. That's efficient.
Man, and this is what brotherhood, sisterhood, camaraderie is all about. This has been a wonderful welcome home. The journey's still going. The journey's never going to end. And we just have to make sure we take care of each other. This is a wonderful thing. I can't thank you guys, all of you guys, enough. And this has got to go.
Hey, if we have a second before the
Me
commercial
and
break,
latex don't get along.
Sideshow, why don't you talk about the
You like that one, right?
talk about the fishbowl sitting right in front of you for our commercial break.
The fishbowl, I don't know if you can see it. Is it on there? All right. This award was given to the 99% Radio Network for Show of the Year. It may be just a fishbowl to some people, but it is actually a prestigious an award for 11 years. This was actually the 10th anniversary of Fishbowl Radio Network. And, this glass bowl means more to myself, 12, and Mongo than you would know, because it shows how much we've put into the show and the support we've gotten. And I'm gonna hand this right over. What?
I've got an idea about this fishbowl.
We can't fill it up with H&M whiskey.
No, there's only one of no. We can fill a lot of things up with H&M. I've got a couple of casks at home we can fill up, but there's only one of these bowls, so why don't you take it? But
Yep.
let's put one marble in that bowl for every first responder that we lose, that succumbs to suicide throughout the year, because it's a visual to let people know, and hopefully we can work ourselves to where there are no marbles in that bowl year after year.
Then you
Great
know
idea.
what? Then you know what? What I'm gonna do is we're gonna have this bowl here with us every week. We'll have this bowl here with us every week. We got to fill it up with 16 marbles now. That's a great idea. We got to fill
Awesome
it up
idea.
with 16 marbles for those that have lost, and we will pay tribute to this because that's a wonderful idea. And I think that will memorialize our first responders throughout our nation.
It'll also give people, when we have this thing on the air, a visual as
Yes.
opposed to us just saying words. They're going to see that filling up, unfortunately, because until we get this stopped, it's going to continue to fill.
Right.
I mean, it's
That's
been
right.
going. It gets worse. It gets worse year after year. We need to bring those numbers down, and that's by awareness and giving people solutions.
That's a great idea.
Yeah,
We will
I love
do
it.
that. I love that idea, and we'll do that. And this will be with us every week.
And
something.
I'm setting a goal right now. We're going to go back to back. We're gonna continue to make a difference. Hopefully, provide a few laughs for our audience. But there's a purpose behind all this. Back to back, baby.
Yep.
Yep.
And that's what and it's I know you say it, but it's not about the bowl.
No.
Really. I mean, it's nice.
It's about making a difference.
It's about making a difference.
in the
It's
community.
about walking a bridge, and it's about saving lives, and it's about our first responders and our veterans that are not getting recognition or getting the help and treatment that they so desperately need. Blue Help works tirelessly, and I gotta give a big shout out to Trauma Behind the Badge and Survive First, Chris Scanlon, Doug Monda, Raul Ruiz out of Florida, Chris Fields out of Oklahoma. You know what? When I had my bucket dump, every one of those guys were the first ones to be making the phone calls across the nation to say, hey, we got to get a brother into Chateau, and that's what they did. And, I got to tell you, Survive First out of Florida, Doug Monda, just said, when do you want to leave? And I told him, well, I got to situate some stuff with work. I said, I want to leave. I gave him a date. Within 10 minutes, I had a plane ticket. Never had to pay for it, never had to do anything. 10 minutes, I had a plane ticket off to Chateau. So, big shout out to Survive First and Trauma Behind the Badge for the tremendous work that they do across the nation with our first responders as well.
I'm sorry I missed it because when I stepped out to grab that, are we breaking at 5 for commercial?
Oh, yeah, okay.
I didn't know if you were looking at that.
Nope,
I
was
wanted to
looking
just
at you and Mongo.
I couldn't tell if you were looking
Like,
at.
his boss in my
I
side.
couldn't tell if you were looking at TJ and Paul or what. I wasn't sure. I didn't know.
Paul's like, Jesus Christ, what did I get myself into?
No. Something while you were gone, we had the guys from Carry On.
Right.
Come into the studio and they brought they call it the honor log. And basically,
I got that every Sunday morning after Saturday night's dinner. I can bring you in my honor log. You want to? All right,
that is not the same thing.
I don't know if you want to carry it or not.
Yeah, I think they held those electrodes on your boobs a little too long there, buddy.
Listen. Those electrodes were
They gave you the purple nurples,
They were
right?
really nice. No, they just vibrated nice.
All right. Well, you were by yourself. I don't think I want to hear about your vibrations.
Yeah, they always ask me, they said, you're really not supposed to take these out of the office, but in your case, we'll let you.
No. Okay, in all seriousness, they came in and they honored us with one of their honored logs. And I showed you the pictures.
I can't laugh without everything you're saying.
Okay, but it's beautiful.
Yes, I saw.
And
the
it's a much smaller replica of their large one. And I've learned by talking to Jeremy Solis the symbolism behind this log, and it's going to be on display at the V-Rock in May for a whole week. There'll be more. We'll give more details about that, but it's going to sit in repose at the V-Rock.
The real one, not
the real one. The large one.
The weight of
the weight
is 700 pounds.
700 pounds.
It takes six men to move it, but they gave us a little one, and Mongo and I agreed in your absence and on your behalf, we decided for you that we would share it amongst us. It's really cool, and we only have one. But when you can sit and look at that thing, and I was at Mongo's the other day looking at it and thinking, of the 3 friends that I've lost over the course of my career, and I'm sure Mongo had thoughts of his own, and when you see it for real, you'll have thoughts of yours. But they are now a component of #WalkTheBridge. They're bringing what they stand for, their desire to honor their fallen brothers. And we're really bringing together all these first responder and military components to carry out our mission, which, as we stated earlier, to raise awareness about this epidemic of first responder and veteran suicides. And we say that, we use that word every time because it really is.
And provide solutions.
And provide solutions and alternatives and the place of reflection. But we also, one of the lesser included, not any less important, but one of the lesser included elements of that is to honor the service of all those veterans and all those first responders across the board. And having a group like Carry On partner up with us and all of the others that have joined in over the last 2 years plus is really a huge benefit as this movement. I mean, think about this. We're going worldwide with this movement. This is freaking awesome.
It's epic. It's something that's long overdue.
Yep.
But one thing with Carry On that I found very impressive with, the couple of guys. How many? 7 guys carry the log?
It takes 6 to carry,
6
but you
to
got
carry.
guys that walk alongside.
You know-
And one other before you go, let me say one
I'm
other
not going
thing.
nowhere.
No, I meant before you go on. Let me say one other thing. So I want you
You only
to know.
got a minute.
I know.
Actually,
I'm watching.
you only
I
got 15 seconds. You can't do anything
So,
in 15 seconds.
Yes, I can. And if we go a little long, it's okay because I cut short the other.
I have an alibi as well. That's
Listen,
one more thing I want.
You can say talking about a bunch of stuff that makes no sense for 15 seconds.
I
We
can.
can.
I can do that.
Go ahead, ramble.
Mongo and I want to, when that log comes to Rowlett, we decided amongst ourselves after they came that he and I are going to strap up and get on the front of that log because it says on it says carry on. And we're going to carry that
Should say
log.
carry me.
Well, that's
You
probably,
guys, I watched
listen,
both of you guys get
Okay.
out of your car and walk across the
That's-
street.
listen.
John, am I lying?
Hey.
It took you 45 minutes. Then you had to pee.
Okay.
How far are you guys going to carry this log?
All right. You know what?
Listen to the young guy brag about a strong bladder.
Hey, so for you though, we made a decision. I'm gonna tell you right now. Me and him are gonna, bumble and stumble. Are gonna strap up to that log because it says carry on, and we're gonna carry that symbolically for you.
How far?
I'm not making any guarantees on how far, okay? But I'm guaranteeing that I'm gonna strap up to it, and he's gonna strap up to it, and we're doing it for you because we want you to know, brother. We have your back. We got your back, and we are carrying for you because we love you, we care about you, we care about the difference that you make in people's lives, the difference that you've made in our lives and our club and all of that. So we already worked it out with Jeremy and those guys. We're going to hook up and we're going to go as far as we can go so that you know that symbolically we feel the pain that you felt. We feel that burden that you were carrying, and we're carrying that for you, and we're always going to carry that for you, brother. So you can say whatever shit you want, but
I'm going to shit talk. You know I'm going to do that.
That's what we're going to do. So
you know I'm going to shit talk.
Anyway.
But no, thank you so much. And, before we do take a break, I want to just give a big shout out to Carry On and the brothers that are carrying that 700-pound log. They are going I don't know if I'm supposed to mention this for Memorial Day.
We're keep the details, but they'll be involved.
Can I mention the 24-hour thing?
Sure. Yeah, you can mention that.
That they're going to carry that.
I don't know exactly how that's going to work out yet because there's some logistical things
there's
like
some
the way
logistical issues with the Memorial Bridge.
Yeah, because so you have a 700-pound log. Say you have me on the front end of it. I don't know how far I'm going to be able to go before I can't go any farther. And you can't just drop it. You can't sit it down. Right. So you have to have basically 6 guys and people on the sides because if you drop it, it can break your leg. It can, it's a heavy, awkward. If you saw the pictures, the way that you have to carry it, it's not an easy thing. You're shuffling along. So
right, so I know because we got a small walkway over there.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I'm going to just call out the Rowlett and the Rockwall police chiefs right now to make sure that there's
we're working on the logistical.
There
yes.
you go. I'll call them out right now.
We're working all that
Close
all that
lanes.
stuff out.
Close the lanes.
So there will be something going on, and they will have that log at some point out at the bridge.
That's awesome.
So we can break, and I have one other thing to tell you related kind of to that, but we can do it after we
Yeah,
come
let's
back.
take a break.
Can I?
We'll be
can
back.
I got
Yeah,
one
sure.
thing
Yep,
I just wanted to get in here before we break. March 6th, 22 Kill Wind Therapy Program is having a show at the Rail Club Live in Fort Worth. It's called Cycles and Sirens. It's going to be a motorcycle show and pinup show. 12's eyes just went, whoa.
Mongo likes those.
I can't blame him. It's going to be a great show, and all the proceeds for that go to benefit 22 Kill Wind Therapy Program, which you guys may know is a riding program to get veterans and first responders out there on 2 wheels getting that wind therapy that we all know is so good for us. So put it down in your calendar, March 6th, the Rail Club Live in Fort Worth, benefiting 22 Kill and Wind Therapy Program. Cycles and Sirens, come on out, support veterans, first responders. Let's stop the suicide epidemic that we have going on. Come out and support, have a good time. There's going to be live bands all through the evening, and it's going to be a great time. So put it on the calendar. I expect to see you gentlemen, and I use the term loosely, out there.
All right. Well, that's what's
March 6th.
March
March
6th.
6th.
March 6th.
March
Okay,
6th.
March 6th at the Rail Club for some wind therapy with 22 Kill. We'll be out there and we will be supporting. This is 99% Radio Network. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be back right after this.
Fast and real. I was on my way back, 50 miles.
Well,
from
you guys.
home.
We all know that safety comes first, but you don't want to look like your parents are sending you on a bike ride. Here at Micro DOT Helmets, we're focused on lightweight DOT certified helmets that protect and still look great, so you don't have to look like that mushroom from Super Mario. If you do have an accident, we'll ship you a fresh new helmet. Real lifetime warranty, only at Micro DOT Helmets, a veteran-owned business.
Come on in and take a trip down memory lane in Garland, Texas at TLC on the Lake, located at 4881 Bass Pro Drive. Step in and enjoy our made-from-scratch meals. It'll make you feel like you're back in Grandma's kitchen. Our friendly staff is always ready to serve you and take care of your every need. Enjoy your meal on our outside deck while overlooking the beautiful views of Lake Ray Hubbard. If you're out with the family or hosting a corporate event, visit TLC on the Lake or give us a call at 972-203-8512.
Here in the Fishbowl, broadcasting live from Fishbowl Radio Network Studios here in Arlington, Texas, the heart of the entertainment district. We've been having an amazing show. Thank you guys once again for welcoming me back with open arms. Some great swag and great gifts from Megan
Those are freaking awesome, aren't they?
Cruz and our Fishbowl Award, and some cakes and fattening food and H&M whiskey, and God, this is what brotherhood's all about.
I think we need to have another one of those. I think Marshall would like that.
You just want another one of those. There you go. Have had it, man.
Pretty
I'm
good stuff.
Oh, I wouldn't do it, but Marshall would like it.
Marshall would like it, yeah.
Marshall would like it. So, man, I just want to recap on everything throughout the day that we have touched on and where we're going. And can you imagine if we weren't stricken down by COVID, how far we would be right now, and where a lot of the other biker clubs would have been without these restrictions in place, because it is hurting a lot of our clubs across the nation. They rely on a lot of fundraisers to help support their charities that they believe in. Bikers Against Bullying is one of them. Shiner, who has supported our children throughout North Texas for a long time with bullying, it's been a pressure on him, because you got half kids in school, you got half kids doing Zoom, and cyberbullying is just another aspect of bullying that he has to contend with. You can't run 50 strong up to someone's house anymore on bikes. It's not feasible. So
as we go into
challenge.
year 2 of this crap, I am personally proud, and I'm proud of us as a group, all of the ones that we are in. And I say it all the time. For me, I wear one hat with just different bills, and sometimes they kind of, sometimes it's 2 bills. But I'm really proud of the things that we've done collectively with the groups that we're associated with that have made what we do better. Like in here, for example, Paul. Having Paul at the board, it's made our show better. The great guests that we've had in, it's made our show better. The support that we get from Fishbowl has made our show better. The additions to the Walk the Bridge movement, like Carry On, make it better. Yep. We started a couple of new. We had our second Hands Across the Bridge, which was also the dedication. But imagine now their involvement in that.
Yep.
The 9/11 ceremony, and this is the 20th anniversary coming up.
Which we are going to partner up on that. We will be doing the 9/11 reading of the names again, but now we are going to be partnering up with the Travis Manion Foundation for the annual 9/11 Heroes Run, which now will also be held in Rowlett on the bridge. It's a 5K run, so I've already spoken to both police chiefs regarding the closure of lanes for that particular day. So we're going to work in conjunction. So that's going to be a nice big event to keep in.
We'll have another addition for you. I've been talking to Johnny Wilson of Coast to Coast. That's Coast X Coast Foundation. They put on a big motorcycle ride from California to Ground Zero. And they end up there, on 9/11. They are coming through DFW on their way back, and they have agreed to make the V-Rock and the bridge one of their stops along the way. And so at some point in time, I don't know the exact timing yet, it's not worked out, but just prior to 9/11 and just prior to our event, we'll be hooking up with them as well.
Fantastic.
At the V-Rock and at the bridge. So my point of saying all of that stuff was this, is that it gives me a great deal of pride and sometimes angst and sometimes a lot of anger when people take pot shots at, well, why are you doing this or why are you doing that? You know why? Because I want to fucking help people. That's why.
Well, there it is. There's the F-bomb.
We're
waiting for it. It was only a matter of time before the H&M whiskey kicked in.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
Did you only did one shot, right?
I haven't had the second one. Maybe I should take it now.
Welcome back to the last show.
Listen.
All right. We'll just get rid of this award.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. I don't fucking care.
But
no,
I mean, listen, we do it because we started off talking about the show today about you and your journey back to here. We, all of us, every person in this room has a passion. I sent John F. and Walsh a message. This guy is one of the best friends and brothers that a person, and we don't have to go into all that. We know.
Yeah.
We know.
Yep.
Omega knows. You know. Most importantly, you know. But everybody in this room is committed to trying to help people, others first. And that's not some hyperbole BS. That is a fact. Every person in here, did you snort?
Spells BS. What's a cuss word?
And we could go down that list, right? I mean, we could. We're committed to this. We're committed to what we do here to make a difference. And we do get passionate about it. And you know why? Because if you cut through all the stuff, at the end of the day, there are people's lives that are at risk here, right? Yours was at risk, all right? So we can just cut right to that bullshit. Yours was at risk, all right? That brings it home and makes it very personal what we do. So anytime that we can add layers to what we do to make it better, to maybe reach other people that we might not be able to reach just with this right here. If we add the Travis Manion Foundation, if we add Carry On, if we add, certain police departments and groups and whatnot, if those layers help us reach one of them, then you know what I say to critics about that? That's what I say. And I mean that right there with all my heart and soul. And if you don't think that I'm triggered about that crap, then look in my eyes, because that's what I say.
I am. I'm looking. I swear, I'm looking.
I couldn't tell if you were looking John or Mongo. But I feel that because I know what you went through. Okay, you. When I think about that, I think about you, and I think about what could have happened, right? And that bothers me on all kinds of, because you're my friend, you're my brother, you're our partner in what we're doing here, and you are virtually irreplaceable, as I proved for the last month. You are, but so and I know that you have saved lives since I've known you. You've saved lives, and at the core, that's why we got into law enforcement, because we wanted to save lives. We wanted to help people. We were willing to put up with all the bullshit that you have to go through. Because why? Because we want to make a difference. We want to save lives. And so when I hear sniping from the peanut gallery about why are you doing this, why are you doing that, who gave you the right to do this? Well, you know what? If it saves somebody's life, if it saves your life, or maybe mine.
Feel it. Feel the F word coming on, right?
No, I'm going to contain it, but it's something I'm very passionate about.
And I'm the same way with you. You're going to have your critics. You're gonna have those people out there that and look at me talking all reasonable and shit, right? Therapy really helped. You're gonna have your critics. You're gonna have your haters. You're gonna have those people that just don't want to be part of it, and that's okay, man. You know what? You don't have to be, because I got to tell you, 99.9% of the guests that we've had in here have been making a difference throughout our country, throughout our nation. Every biker club, every guest that we have in here in some way, shape, or form is making a difference in somebody's life. Look, we even had Sammy the Bull on, man. He's made a difference in a lot of people's lives.
For good.
We've had Larry Mazur on, we've had, it depends on how you look at making a difference. All right, so he was cleaning up, so making a difference. But everybody that we've had here has made a difference or touched somebody in a good way. And you know what? You're going to have those people out there that are just, you know what? They're going to hate. They're not going to be a part of it. They're always going to criticize. They are going to be, I hate to get political, but they're going to be the Nancy Pelosi's of the Donald Trumps. You can cure cancer, and they're going to still hate you for it, or they're going to still ask you why you did it. So take those people with a grain of salt. You know what? Flip them off, because you know what? They don't matter. They don't. Their voice does not matter. They don't want to be part of the solution. They want to be part of the problem. Don't let them kick you down. Just let them use their fuel to keep you strong and move forward. And that's what you got to do.
You're right.
It sucks. It's hard. It's hard. You get to ingest all that negativity. But you know what? Turn that negativity into positivity. Move on without them. Let them be negative within themselves.
Therapy really did you good, didn't it?
This is all bullshit. I'm reading off a card.
Well, when you invest a lot of time, and we have a lot of different ways to approach these problems now. Where before, we built layers over the last couple of years. Before, we didn't have them. We have a lot more resources now, like Carry On, like Coast to Coast. And the list goes on. Different police departments here in Tarrant County, the sheriff of Tarrant County. The list could go on and on of the resources that were used for you, right?
Right. And and just 22 Kill alone, they opened up Valor Ranch over in Denton.
Yep.
Or Decatur. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Decatur. The Valor Ranch. I've never heard of any other female veteran facility in close proximity in Texas, but they have now Valor Ranch out there, and personally know someone whose daughter is there and is making wonderful strides. 22 Kill has done an amazing job with putting Valor Ranch together and helping our female veterans. You know, sometimes we forget about, and this is another thing when we're talking about in therapy, is it's male dominated. You see a lot of males in therapy, in recovery. You don't see a lot of females. Same with our female veteran population. We do not recognize them the way they deserve to be recognized. And I honor 22 Kill for doing that with Valor Ranch here in Texas, because, you know, sometimes it's easy to forget. We always say brotherhood. We forget about the sisterhood that's involved in that. So God bless 22 Kill for doing that and for making great strides. And I hope this is your first year open. I hope you grow bigger and stronger every single day to help our female veterans.
A lot of skin in the game, a lot of time, a lot of tears, blood, sweat, and tears. But the equation definitely changes. You know, I have seen you become emotionally involved because you're putting a lot of time and effort into some of these things that have come out of Walk the Bridge and these other deals. Valor Ranch, Hefe, we've had him in here.
Yeah.
You know, that's just one example of many. But when it happens in your backyard, when it happens to your friend and your brother, it becomes deeply personal. The issues are exactly the same as we've dealt with many, many times. But when it happens to your brother, it becomes deeply personal.
And especially because you know the backstory on what happened that I can't get into.
Right. When you know the backstory, and when someone that you know and you trust, that you've shared intimate details of your life that relate to, you know, the career and things like that, when you lose the ability to communicate with that person, right, in their time of crisis, because their crisis is so bad that you cannot communicate with them, it makes it very real and very personal. And so I do apologize for dropping the F-bomb, but I'm telling you, that's something that your situation, that hit close to home with me, very close to home. And to have criticism over, why are you trying to make this better? Well, maybe because it'll save someone's life. You know, I don't know all the answers. I don't even know all the questions, but I know it's the right thing to do. And you're a jackass for saying something to me about it, or saying something to somebody else to say to me about it. And it just sits under my butt like a thorn. You know, we're not perfect. We make mistakes, but we are trying our best to make a difference in people's lives. We're not messing around with it. When they call, we go. You spent the whole weekend chasing Brian around that one, the whole damn weekend. I've dealt with, you know what I'm saying? We put skin in this game. And it's easy for someone to sit on the sidelines doing nothing.
You're letting them live in your
head.
But
I realize that. I can't get him out.
You just gave 5 minutes to him that he does not deserve.
Help it.
I know, but you gave 5 minutes to him that
it eats me the fuck up.
Dude.
Boom!
Welcome back to the last show.
I'm just going to drop another one in there. Brother.
It does.
I know.
Because it affected you.
Didn't affect me.
No. What I'm saying is,
I had my brothers around me. It didn't affect me.
You're only getting this for 10 minutes on the radio. I'm getting this for 2 hours later on tonight.
You saw that car accident on Thursday and said,
Dude.
shit.
What? I know. I'm sorry. It triggered me. I'm sorry. I need to get off it because it does.
Yeah.
What I mean is it affected you, and that could have ended badly. So you don't make light of that crap. You say, what can I do to help?
Okay, but that's one person. That's one person. Bro, don't let it bother you. Don't let it be a thorn in your ass. Okay? Listen, that person does not matter. Look what matters. Look what's in this studio right now is what matters.
I know.
Okay?
I'm going to try to trigger him later by saying Tom Brady and good things about him. We'll get this worked out.
You know what? Will it help you say I kind of like the Raiders? No, really.
I feel better.
Listen, and that's another thing. When we talk about negative feedback from other people on things that you are passionate about and things that you want to do, all right, people will be negative. Stay away from them because it's only going to screw up your mindset. Listen, we got great gifts. Got cake, got H&M, got a wonderful year trophy. You know what? Don't let that one person take away that joy. Everything you worked for a year. Don't let him sit in your head. He does not deserve space in your head. He doesn't. He's not paying rent, right? Let it go, bro. You're better than that. You're higher than that. You're stronger than that. Don't let somebody kick you down with that negativity. You know what I'm saying? It's not worth it. We're all here together. All right? And you know what? It's a journey that's going to keep on going. We're going to have this journey. We're going to have another journey. And we're going to, you know what? Adapt,
Improvise.
Improvise, adapt, and overcome. See, I'm not a veteran.
That's all right.
So, say those words. You know, these mala beads, when you go to therapy, they make you say a word. It's your word, right? And you can change it every day, but this stayed with me for the whole time. It was called, my word was peaceful, because my life is sometimes chaotic. So I wanted peace. So I use peaceful. And with these mala beads, what you do is there's 108 beads on here. And you go through each one of them and you say, you say the words to yourself, peaceful. And you work yourself through them. So what you want to do is when that person lives in your head, get to that word. Get a word that grateful, peaceful, anything that you want, right? And when that person gets in your head, just start saying that over and over and over again. And I guarantee you, by the time you hit the 10th time you say that word, that person will be out of your head, and you'll be thinking positive again.
I appreciate that, and I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry. Yep. Think of a word.
And especially because it involved you.
I don't have a PhD, but think of a word and just use that word, bro. And not that word.
Starts with a C, ends with a C.
There you go. Man. So what about that cold weather? We got cold weather coming in, which reminds me to really thank the 9 brothers out there on that coat drive, because
they killed it.
They killed it this year. They gave out over 200 coats.
We collected, all told, from the 9 brothers alone, 2 trailer loads of coats. Trailer loads. And I am happy to report, 9 brothers, if y'all are listening, every single coat. There, all total, there was almost 300. It was 290 something coats, brand spanking new or barely used. Every one is accounted for. That means every single one went to a person that needed a jacket. Every single one. Is that amazing?
That is wonderful, because now there's over 300 people out there right now that in this bitter cold have a jacket to keep them warm, that would have never had a jacket if it wasn't for the 9 brothers. So, man, their jacket drive really, really knocked it out of the park. God bless all you guys for doing what you did, because, man, we're in Texas, and people go, who needs a blanket? Who needs a jacket? Well, you know what? You 9 brothers probably saved a lot of lives this weekend with putting a jacket on someone's back in these frigid weathers, in this frigid cold that we're going to have. So God bless you guys.
I have a small
God bless
stash
all of
left.
them.
If you are a veteran, if you're anybody and you're cold, we're not going to let anybody freeze. Come by the V-Rock. If you can get to the V-Rock, 4210 Industrial Street in Rowlett, we'll hook you up. If you're hungry, you need calories, you're cold, you're trying to stay warm, a lot of these guys will be walking the streets for the next 5 days. Come to the V-Rock. I'll hook you up. If nothing else, I'll give you MREs, 4,000 calories.
You got those backpacks.
I got the backpacks.
You got the backpacks, which are full with socks
Stuff.
and toiletries. And an American flag. And an American flag.
A reconditioned American flag,
reconditioned.
folded respectfully, wrapped in plastic with a little card that says where it came from and where it proudly flew before it was retired.
Yeah, so like this weekend more than ever, if you need help, if you need assistance in any way, even if you can't get out to Rowlett, all right, give the Rowlett, give the V-Rock a call. We will get that jacket to you. We will get that backpack to you. We will get some sort of support to you in this frigid weather for the next weekend. Let's make sure we take care of our vets, our first responders, our elderly, our seniors. Let's make sure that no one loses their life due to the frigid temperatures that are coming up. The V-Rock is there to support. I hate to throw you under the bus here, but what's the number for the VROC?
972-463-8762 or 463-VROC.
Or 463-VROC. Give them a call. Speak to Brian anytime between the hours of 9 and 5. There's someone always manning the VROC. We will get you the services that you need anytime during this weekend. We don't want to see anybody go hungry or cold. So give the VROC a call, the Veterans Resource and Outreach Center over in Rowlett, Texas. All right, brothers, I did enough talking for today. How about you guys?
Well, Valentine's Day is coming up, so I just want to
how to
shout
remind
out
us
to my
about that.
wife, Abby, I love you. Happy Valentine's Day. Yeah, I'm good.
Are you wearing her panties? You must be wearing her panties again.
It's okay. You can tell us.
Yeah.
We won't tell nobody.
No. Let it go, Lou.
No, John's always really endearing to his wife. Abby, if you're listening, I know Abby's even doing it.
Yeah, she's making fun of me right now.
She is. She's always making fun of you, but she loves you, and you are very endearing to her.
She texts me letters before.
F you?
Yeah. Well, that's when she texted me. I'm like,
what are these
I
letters?
feel like using
those.
He calls text messages letters. What are these letters? Well, if you put them together, they're considered words, and if you put all those words in a screen, it's called a text message.
And furthermore, some weather we're going to have, huh?
See, as JFW is one of the best men in the world, but totally stuck in 1970. You can tell by his hair. He's stuck in 1970. We won't screw with the hair, but it is receding a little bit. It is receding a little bit. Technology.
I think they call that a pompadour.
He's still got his white capezios.
I got my pinky rings.
Yeah, your pinky rings.
And we're going to be painting your man cave this weekend.
If I don't have to go back to work, yes.
I'm off Saturday.
Well, then you'll be there doing it by yourself if I have to work, because I'm going to go back on 12-hour tours for a little
Saturday.
while. So.
At least you could do is just hand me the beers while I'm painting.
All right.
There you go.
All right. Well, somebody will hand you the beers if I got to work. Then somebody else will hand you the beers.
There you go.
Pop will hand you the beers.
There you go.
Well, I'll be drinking the beers with you.
Well, you know what we have to look forward to. You care if we exit out a little early today?
I don't care. I don't mind.
So as we leave, I'm sitting here and I'm listening to all this and thinking of all these great things. You know what we have to look forward to this year, though, for the 99% Radio Network? We have a world tour coming up, right? Think about it.
Right.
Yeah. We're going to be going down to Florida, not once, but twice.
Right.
Got the OCC grand opening coming up. I think it's going to be the first week of May. Now I got a message from Jim Kerr, the vice president down there, that they're looking. I don't know the date yet. Probably that first weekend, maybe the second weekend. But then we get to go down to Port Canaveral. We get to go to the Bahamas. We get to go to the Dominican Republic. We get to go to Haiti and back. We get to party on the boat. How cool is that for the radio show?
Oh, listen, and to be part of that cruise line, having the 99% Radio Network, being part of that cruise line, they're giving us a suite to do our interviews in. I can't thank the cruise line enough for everything that they've provided for the 99% Radio Network, as giving us the honor to really celebrate and the first responders and the veterans that are going to be and the biker community that's going to be on board that ship.
So this will be the first leg of our world tour. We'll do the Caribbean and then Europe next, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yes. We got
We'll go to
invited.
the
We got
UK.
invited to Ireland.
We got invited to the UK, to Ireland,
right.
and to the Czech Republic. So maybe we could do the little triangle tour.
But with all that said, we were invited.
We're invited.
And for all those people that are invited, I have one thing to say to you: show me the money.
That's right.
Yeah, or show me the plane ticket. We'll be there. But I was talking to Frank Fiella, one of my ex-partners today, and we were talking about Laughter Saves Lives and the whole bit. And I told him about the cruise, right? So he goes, "Where are you going?" I said, "We're going to the Dominican Republic." I go, "We're going to Haiti." He goes, "So you're going back to work?" So yeah, matter of speaking, we're going back to work.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's close out a little early. It's been a great day. It's a wonderful ride. I can't thank you so much. We're gonna have to have a piece of cake before we leave, and just do a little celebration in the kitchen. And I want to thank everybody who is out there listening, all our supporters. Don't forget February 22nd. Not only my birthday, but we are going to have it's going to be Walk the Bridge over in Rowlett on Heroes Bridge. And 12, you want to close us out with any upcoming events?
Well, nope, you just got it.
Oh, that's it?
We're good. Yeah, I was going to
For
try
February?
to repeat your saying, but I think it's more appropriate if you can be anything.
I forgot.
Well,
be kind.
Be kind.
If
you can be anything today,
be kind. And today is not the day to give up.
That's right.
Which
Well,
will
let's
be
thank
tattooed.
Megan Cruz Miller for our
Yes.
wonderful coffee mugs,
Beautiful
customized.
mugs.
Amazing.
Thank
amazing.
you to TJ for these hats and for putting this great banner up behind us and for actually coming in and sitting with us tonight.
And the
for
swag
Herbert
from
Lewis for
Michigan.
the
The swag from Michigan. From your Michigan State.
No,
Trooper.
that's from Massachusetts.
Massachusetts.
Yeah, we displayed that on the air in your
Oh,
absence
okay. Well,
a couple of that's
well, I
from
wanna thank them for-
Manjana and Todd
Yep.
from the Massachusetts State Police and his club up there.
Want to thank them as
So
well.
we're rocking that. Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else?
Oh, hey, you know what? Thank you for all this great food on the table too.
Yes.
Yes.
Megan for bringing in the white cake, and 12 for bringing in that sideways
Judy
looking.
Lamb.
Oh, Judy, I'm sorry.
Judy.
Judy Lamb for bringing in our well,
From,
12 brought it. He brought it in
yeah.
sideways,
Victoria.
but
Yes.
Right? Victoria?
Yes.
That's who made
Yeah.
that cake?
Yes.
yeah,
Sorry.
we got the name.
All right. All right. Well, once again, this is the 99% Radio Network. Thank a veteran. Thank a first responder. Give him a hug. Give him a handshake or give him a fist bump, whatever you
thank
can.
Paul.
And thank Paul. Always
Yeah.
thank Paul.
Yeah.
Paul's amazing.
He does a great job.
And you know what?
Have we ever showed Paul on camera?
No, I'm like a drummer. No,
He just keeps the beat. He just
got a
keeps
face
the
for
beat,
radio.
man. Yeah, he just. And until next week, man, just follow us every week. You can check us out on Facebook. Give us a shout. We are available to come to your next event. We will host it. We will help put it together. We will help promote it. Sponsorships are available at this time. Give us a shout. Give us an email. We're more than happy to advertise your business or your next upcoming event. And what else? That's
Welcome
it.
home.
Thank you.
Welcome
Thank
home.
you, Johnny. Johnny effing Walsh. And until next week, hey, you can check us out. Check me out. Coming up at 7 o'clock on YouTube and on Facebook on the award-winning Mad Radio Show with Samantha Horowitz. We are going to be discussing everything for our first responders and therapy. So check us out beginning at 7 p.m. All right. Until next week, stay well, stay blessed, and
Peace.
peace. Peace out.
Dude, 1, 2, 3, 4.